Pelicans fired GM Grant Carthon. His 2-year tenure included a 9-25 record. Drafting quarterback Will Levis, Coach Brian Callahan will return. A big decision ahead for Tennessee to make with the top overall pick in the upcoming draft, notes ESPN's Jeff Saturday.
Which way are we going? Are we going to try to build this thing internally? Are we going to build it, or are we going to go get another quarterback and chase that right now? Is Sanders or Cam Ward that type or that quality of player that we can build our team around them? Or do we need to go get some more pieces and parts, trade down, figure this thing out, and then go get the quarterback in a couple years?
Lions expect running back David Montgomery to return from an MCL injury for the divisional round. Dolphins GM Chris Greer says receiver Tyreek Hill didn't ask for a trade when the two recently met. Hill on Sunday hinted he might want to play elsewhere next season.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Canty. Coming up Wednesday, the Ravens are heavy favorites against the Steelers. So what would another playoff loss mean for Lamar's legacy? It's Unsportsmanlike, weekday mornings at 6, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
That's right! Woo!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt. Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yes, sir. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Ross Dellenger here in about 15 minutes. John Brady from Como. Next hour, Sean Salisbury will be here in hour 3. Let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
The New Orleans Saints are embarking on, as we have sort of documented here, their most critical offseason since 2006, when they hired Sean Payton and were rebuilding post-Katrina and everything involved there. Even when Sean Payton left, remember, that was still a very stable organization with good culture and a good roster, a team that had won the division and had gone to the playoffs. And obviously they missed in 2021, but still what you were handing Dennis Allen was a very stable situation. This is anything but for the next head coach. And Derek Carr apparently is determined not to make this any easier for whoever the new head coach is. Carr met with reporters on Monday, but he also had a one-on-one with our friend Kat Terrell from ESPN. And he told Kat in no uncertain terms that he will not help the Saints with a pay cut. The quote directly is, "I wouldn't," and this was a print quote, so I do not have the audio or the video. This was a one-on-one interview that Kat did with Derek Carr. Derek Carr said, quote, "I wouldn't take a pay cut. Yeah, I wouldn't do that, especially with what I put on tape. Would I restructure? Absolutely. I'll always help the team that way. But there's some things that you put out there that you earned. Even in some cases, it could be even worse. But I felt confident when I signed it that this would give the team the best flexibility at the time. But there's always kind of respect as a quarterback. You're like, well, still, we're in that respectful lane. We're good. Build the team. But yeah, I wouldn't take anything less to do this. It's hard enough putting our bodies through it, and you're trying to get everything you can for your family for it." Okay, so that's the quote from Derek Carr. He will not take a pay cut. So this is why this is important. By the way, I don't fault Derek Carr. Now, I believe that contract should be given as a projection, not as what you've done. There's a little bit of a happy medium, but sort of infamously, late in his career, the Lakers paid the late Kobe Bryant an absurd amount of money that was nowhere near his, at the time, competency, but it was the means of keeping him a Laker for the rest of his career. And sometimes organizations make the decision to do that. That doesn't really happen as much in the NFL. That's why you see great players like J.J. Watt finish his career with the Cardinals, or Joe Montana finish his career with the Chiefs, or Jerry Rice wear a Seahawks uniform. It just happens. As guys want to continue play, maybe they ring chase. But I hated the contract they gave Derek Carr when they did it. I hated the restructure this past offseason. And my point at the time ended up being prophetic, which was you restructured Derek Carr last season, and in so doing, you financially bound yourself to Derek Carr for 2 more seasons after 2024. And I hated the decision because my point today about Derek Carr is the same point I made the day they signed him, which is he is a low, middle tier, upper, bottom tier starting quarterback in the NFL. It's literally the thing I've told you now from the day he signed with the New Orleans Saints. He is Andy Dalton. You can roll your eyes at that, but we broke down the numbers 2 years ago. It's what he is. A guy was drafted by a team to be their franchise. He started for a long time. Their stats are almost identical. The team that made him their franchise decided and Andy Dalton jumped. He's been with a different team every year since. And Derek Carr effectively would be the same, but for the fact that the Saints gave him $150 million. And restructuring last year was stupid, and now you're in a really tough spot because you have a veteran quarterback who has underperformed his contract, who has now been injured, who is not going to be any better next year amid a rebuild with a new coach, and you're up a creek. The great thing would be if Derek Carr agreed to take less so you could help reset your cap situation. It doesn't hurt to ask, to shoot your shot, but he's not going to do it. I don't necessarily say that I blame him. The Saints contractually owe him this money. It's not his fault. They did a terrible deal. That's why Mickey Loomis is an awful general manager. I don't even know that there is an argument to the contrary at this point. The larger the sample size grows, the more the championship in 2009 in that window before Bountygate looks like the outlier. It looks like the exception, not the rule. I mean, hell, the Saints have even drafted pretty well at times. Do you notice that Caden Ellis and Zach Bond tied for the 6th most tackles in the NFL this year? That's 2 guys you drafted that are now playing for other teams. Trey Hendrickson led the NFL in sacks. You drafted him, he's playing for another team. Because of your incompetence, your inability to manage your roster and your salary cap. That's why the Saints are what they are. And Derek Carr is he's the crown jewel of that because you sunk $150 million into a bad quarterback and you made it even worse by restructuring him last year when you should have just understood what you were and what he was. So now here you go again, and you have a decision to make. And really, your decision about what to do with Derek Carr, you have 2 choices. Because whether Mickey Loomis and the Saints organization, the brass want to acknowledge it or not, a rebuild is coming. Either accepted or forced, it is coming. Like a bottoming out for this organization is coming. And the question is, do you want to cannonball into the deep end of the rebuild, or do you want to wade into a zero entry pool of the rebuild? Sometimes it's easier. I cold plunge every morning. I've told you this. I don't mean to bore you with this, but I love it. It's awesome. But there ain't no easy way at 5:25 in the morning to get into a cold plunge. You know what I mean? You don't dip your toe. You just get in it. Get in it, take some deep breaths, and then let it absorb your body, and you settle in. And you get through it. That's my opinion of where the Saints are right now with Derek Carr. So you got 2 options. One is you cut his cap number. Derek Carr's cap number for 2025 is $51 million. If you cut him and post him and designate him as a post-June 1 release, his cap number would drop to $11 million this year and then $28 million in dead money next year. So the problem is you're kicking the can down the road. But you get rid of Derek Carr, you get a new quarterback with a new coach, and you get cap relief this year when you're $78 million over the cap. Or you keep Derek Carr, and he counts $50 million against your cap next year. and it'll be his last year in New Orleans. And then your new coach will have a lame duck quarterback who will be gone after next year. And you figure it out from there. Do you draft your quarterback next year? Is it Spencer Rattler? Do you let Rattler grow? Do you draft a quarterback this year? There's all these different types of questions that you'd have to answer. But my preference, this is easy for me. Cut Derek Carr right now. Well, not today, but cut him before the start of the league year. Designate him as a post-June 1st release. Reduce that cap number to $11 million this year. Yes, it's $28 million next year, but this year I'm getting rid of all the expensive veterans. And I'm going to have a roster full of undrafted free agent rookies, and we are going to suck to holy hell and back. That's what I'm doing. And that sucks, and it sucks to acknowledge, but that's your reality because you're not winning anything. So you bring Derek Carr back, you win 9 games, 8 games, 7 games, whatever. You're drafting in the middle of round 1 again, and where are you? Now you're moving on from Derek Carr. Your cap situation still stinks. You got a new coach, now with a new quarterback, and a pick somewhere in the middle of round 1. Where are you? You're nowhere. Cannonball into the deep end. Cut Derek Carr, take the big savings this year. Yes, you'll have a big cap number next year. Bring in your new coach. Let your coach pick his quarterback. Maybe it's Rattler. Maybe you find a 1-year stopgap. Go sign Daniel Jones for a year. I don't care. You're going to suck either way. And then next year, and you're going to suck so bad that you're picking in the top 5 of the 2026 draft, a draft that will have, by the way, likely Arch Manning, Garrett Nussmeier, maybe Nico's in that draft, perhaps Lenora Sellers if he improves. I mean, Jackson Arnold, we'll see what he does. Drew Aller from Penn State will be in next year's draft. You'll have a much better draft class in 2026, and you'll be picking at the top of that draft. So 2025, that's going to suck, y'all. There's no way around it. But are you going to suck but not be the worst with Derek Carr? Or you're going to get rid of Derek Carr, suck all the way, like suck hard, but get a top-tier pick, get your franchise quarterback in the 2026 draft, and then start building from there. That's my preference. But then again, I ain't the guy who smacks on gum and preaches to everybody about how a terrible quarterback with one of the worst winning percentages of all time is comparable to Chuck Noll. Friggin' loser. Can't wait to see what Mickey does with this one. It's AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. Love sharing 5-star Google reviews. This one came in from KD about Bobby, who Bobby's been in my house plenty. I won't hold it against him that he's a Rummel alum, but still a good dude. Said Bobby was very informative, found the problem within a few minutes. He's very knowledgeable about AC units, did a great job troubleshooting. Another 5-star Google review. If it's Bobby or any technician that's coming to your house, you can rest assured knowing that whoever shows up in that big yellow van or truck with the giant clock on the side is going to be expertly trained. River City's 1 Hour Air invests in their people to get the best people, but also continuing education so they're up with the latest technologies. And you're always going to pay a fair price. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill of every play with our...
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Ooh, Deli's on South Beach. How about it? Ross Dellenger, Yahoo, down there for a little Notre Dame, Penn State. But anytime there's something about money or booze to be written about, our guy is there. In this case, it's the former, not the latter. Deli, how are you, man?
Good, man. How you doing?
You love that intro?
Yeah, it's great.
Good.
I wish I was on South Beach. And unfortunately, all of the Orange Bowl stuff takes place in Fort Lauderdale, so about 40 minutes away.
Lauderdale's not bad, though. That's a beautiful spot, too. Good place to be.
It is.
You wrote a piece, which is up at Yahoo right now, and I'll read the headline for those that haven't seen it yet. You should go read it, by the way. It's wonderfully done. With NIL era ending, college sports on verge of seismic change. How will schools adapt with industry in upheaval? Ross, is the NIL era actually ending?
Well, not really. I guess as we know it, the NIL era is probably ending. But there will still be plenty of NIL, as I wrote in that story. We're moving into a revenue sharing era. I know I've been on your show a lot talking about that the last several months, where schools can directly pay players up to a certain amount starting in July. But there can be more NIL money, which is what my story is about. And it's NIL collectives and marketing agencies that can provide athletes with more money over the cap, right? So you'll have, at least in year one of the revenue sharing, you'll have a cap of around $20.5 million that each school can distribute to their athletes. That is a soft cap, you might say, because compensation from brands and businesses, and to a degree from boosters, can be on top of that. So you could exceed the cap, but all of those deals, Matt, any deal that's outside of the school that comes from a booster or a collection of boosters has to go through an NIL clearinghouse, a new NIL clearinghouse that's run by Deloitte. And that's the big part of that story, is what can some of these big blue blood programs, that some of which have rosters of more than the rev share is going to even allow, can they do supplemental NIL, outside money to these athletes? Can they strike authentic, real deals for these athletes that pass through the clearinghouse so that they can go above and beyond the cap? Everybody's looking for an advantage, and that's kind of the new frontier of recruiting.
So the cynic in me, Ross, says, oh, that's great. There's a clearinghouse that every NIL deal, I believe you wrote it, so every deal over $600 has to go through this clearinghouse. That sounds great. We all know that's not that's not going to happen. There will be under-the-table deals or however they need to be done through the collective or however it is. Tell me why I'm wrong.
Under the table, I can't imagine what you're talking about. That's never happened in college football, especially in the SEC. No, nothing under the table, nothing, never. Well, yeah, that's the thought is that, you've opened with this NIL era the last 3 years. You've kind of opened the can with the boosters, right? You've let them in, and you've needed them, right? Schools have brought them inside to fund their rosters. That's what's happened the last 3 years. And now all of a sudden, this settlement is supposed to, in this clearinghouse, which is part of the settlement, is supposed to eliminate them or limit their ability to provide compensation to athletes. But it's kind of too late, right? It's kind of like the old cliche, putting the toothpaste back in the tube. You've let the boosters in to fund your rosters. And although this settlement will allow the schools to directly pay, the boosters are already involved in the fact that now you can go over the cap, this new cap, by involving the boosters. Well, naturally, at many places, the boosters are going to stick around, and everybody's looking for an advantage, right? I was on the phone with a coach last night, and he said, unlike all coaches, Ross, I'm looking for the advantage to this new system, and in the actually the way he put it was, I'm looking to cheat, right? I'm a coach. I'm looking for ways to cheat. That's literally what he said to me, and so the ways to cheat is to get deals through the clearinghouse, devise a way to get deals through the clearinghouse, we don't know how strict the clearinghouse is going to be yet, Matt.
How would that look? How would, by the way, what a world where a sitting head coach is telling a national reporter, I'm looking for ways to cheat. That's just, Ross, that's when there's absolutely no fear whatsoever of retribution. And that's where I wonder. Yeah, go ahead, please.
No, not a head coach, but close enough anyway.
Okay.
Either way, a coach. And you're right. There's there's not a lot of fear right now in any kind of enforcement because the NCAA, mostly because of the courts and the court rules from judges, is kind of handcuffed to enforce any of their rules because they've been shot down by federal and local judges because they have been deemed to be violations of the law, basically. And so the NCAA has been handcuffed. There's been little to no enforcement. And so now, nobody's really fearing it. And now you're putting the handcuffs back on, or you're trying to. And that's going to be difficult. And I think there's a lot of doubt in that this can be done effectively without even more lawsuits.
Ross Dellenger is with us. A couple more minutes. What happens to collectives?
Well, I think at some places collectives are closing, just completely closing. So every school's handling it different. There's some that are closing. There's some that where the collective is turning into like a marketing agency to do exactly what we've been talking about here, where the marketing agency strikes deals for athletes, third-party deals for athletes to get through the clearinghouse. And then at other places, the collectives are sticking around, I think, as collectives, but the goal is to try to find real brand business deals to get through the clearinghouse. We just don't know how strict the clearinghouse is going to be. We know they're going to rely on, quote, fair market value. So if there's a deal that is affiliated with a booster or a collective or even a marketing agency that involves any kind of booster money, Matt, it is getting flagged to sent to the clearinghouse. So, a lot of this stuff is really confusing. To put it in specific examples, if LSU's Garrett Nussmeier signs a deal, with Nike, right? That doesn't have to go through the clearinghouse. Right? That's a business. It's a big brand, so it just goes through. But if Garrett Nussmeier signs a deal with the law firm there in town that has often signed NIL deals with athletes, the law firm who's a great
sponsor,
partner,
who's a great sponsor of our show, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys.
Gordon, right? And Gordon's a donor. He's a booster at LSU. That will get flagged, and that will go through the clearinghouse, and the clearinghouse will determine, is Gordon McKernan paying Garrett Nussmeier what is deemed in Baton Rouge fair market value for an endorsement deal? And how they're going to do that, I don't know. They probably have some kind of formula. Deloitte does. Deloitte has been hired to run the clearinghouse. And they're a global company that certainly has a lot of resources at their disposal. But we don't really know how they're going to judge that. You know, if Garrett Nussmeier's deal with Gordon McKernan is $50,000, maybe that's deemed fair market value for what he's doing, for the duties Garrett is doing. But if it's $5 million, well, I'm going to think something like that probably isn't going to get cleared.
Yeah, I don't think Garrett's doing a $5 million deal with Gordon. Just a guess. But I understand you're using big round numbers. Okay, last thing for you. If I asked you to look in your crystal ball 1 year from right now, so we will have just finished the first football season with the new revenue share, what do you think NIL looks like? What's the big takeaway 1 year from right now?
You know, I think 1 year is tough. I don't know that we'll see just kind of like NIL. You know, right? We're on the fourth, I guess. Yeah, the fourth season of NIL being in existence, and I feel like, you know, the first season of NIL we didn't really see. At least I didn't. It was year 2 and certainly year 3 and now this year that you're seeing really the impact. So I think it's probably going to be the same with the revenue share era. It's going to be something similar. I think what you'll further see, Matt, and this is more of a global answer to your question, is you're just going to see a more separation between the power conferences and the group of 5 conferences, because now schools are going to be able to pay directly. And some of these group of 5 schools, they can't pay at all. So you're going to see more and more of a gap, and you're probably going to see more and more of a gap even within the power conference schools. And eventually, we all probably know what that will lead to, right? There'll be some more separation, more formal separation at some point. That's what this is going to do.
Yes. Ross Dellenger from Yahoo. Follow him at Ross Dellenger. Go read. It's a wonderfully done piece. If you want, a lot of people ask me often, like, can you explain the difference with revenue share and NIL? Like, go read, take 15 minutes and go read this. It's very well done. That explains tons about what's going on. We appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right, buddy. See you.
All right, we'll see you. That's Ross Dellenger. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020, or williamsoneye.com. I always tell you to go get your consultation. Remember, that consultation, the consultation is not a sales pitch. You're not calling to have them sell you. This is just you getting options, and they don't charge for it, and you can do it virtually. Like if you're driving in your car in the morning to work or at home from work or during your lunch break, you can do the consultation virtually. You're going to meet with Kyle, who's great, and you'll get all the options, and then based on that, and you can go decide if you're going to have a meeting with Dr. Blake, and you can make your decision. Listen, you know, as we start a new year, maybe when if you enrolled in your FSA program, you want to put dollars in that account, you could do so for this year, and you could use those funds toward a refractive procedure. So listen, they have financing available as well, 24 months, 0% deferred interest. So don't let finances, money, ability to pay get in the way of having 20/20 vision without contacts or glasses. The Williamson Eye Center can help. 924-2020, 924-2020, or williamsoneye.com. All right, I appreciate Ross for being here with us. We missed Shea Dixon, but Shea just texted he is good in about 30 minutes. So we'll talk recruiting, LSU, portal, all that stuff with Shea 30 minutes from right now. And John Brady will be here in 1 hour. I want to react to some of what Ross had to say there. We'll go around the SEC. Herb Street on the record saying he almost left College Game Day. We'll get to all that as we continue. It's AFR.
AFR.
Y'all go get your king cakes. It's that time, y'all. Get on by Rouse's. Rouse's.com. Rouse's.com. Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. And my goodness, they got king cakes, and they got them lined up. Carnival season is here. Have you seen Rouse's has brought back their king cake Gentilly cake as well? What a gorgeous, colorful look. If you want to check that out, they actually got a picture of it up on all their social media right now. My goodness, that is freaking amazing. Carnival season is here, y'all, and there's no place better to help celebrate than Rouse is. Rouses.com. That's where you can go see all the weekly ads, the specials, or just pop on into any of your Rouse's locations. They got 70 of them from Lake Charles to Orange Beach and points in between. King Cake season is here, y'all, so make sure you get on by this King Cake season, this carnival season, and get your King Cakes over at Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouses.com. Rouses, this feels like home.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Got chores that need some extra muscle, but a large piece of equipment is overkill? That's what John Deere compact utility tractors were made for. Powerful enough for the work you need to do. Compact enough for how you need to do it. Find the equipment that's right for you at Sunshine Quality Solutions. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Atmos Energy, our Smart Choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high efficiency.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Big shout out. Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. By the way, they got calendars. They got 2025 John Deere calendars, free while they last, at all of your Sunshine locations. 17 of them, Bunky and below. Get on by, get you a calendar, Muse.
I like calendars. I mean, those are important.
You could put one in yours and Paulie's office.
We could. We should.
Have you figured out how to clean off the dry erase board yet?
I just have to get some more, some newer dry erase board cleaner.
Call Landon.
Okay.
While you're at it, ask Landon if we could get some Lysol wipes or Clorox wipes.
Yeah.
Clean in here. That would be good.
That'd be good too.
All right. That'd be good. And get a calendar from Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Shout out to Ross Dellenger. Thanks for being here. Got a great piece up right now about the ushering in the revenue sharing era. What you heard him say there at the dismount was that the gap is going to grow with the haves and the have-nots, because there are, just for instance, the revenue sharing soft cap that athletic departments will be able to share their revenue with their student athletes is $20.5 million. Well, there's a lot of athletic departments that play in the FBS that will not be able to afford to share $20 million. Some athletic departments don't make some football programs don't make $20 million. Certainly don't net $20 million, but don't even generate $20 million in revenue. So how can you share $20 million in revenue? You can't. So that gap with the haves and the have-nots is just going to become seismic. And yes, it's going to push us more towards total separation. I'm very much looking forward to that day and that inevitability. What I will be most interested to see, however, is at the top, if the clearinghouse does what it is intended to do and manages NIL deals so it's fair market value, do you start to see a return to more relational recruiting? If the money is what, relatively speaking, does it now come down to Bryce Underwood's a great example. If there were no NIL in the way it is now, and it was revenue share, and Michigan and LSU were offering a very comparable number, would Bryce Underwood still be at LSU? That's kind of the question that we might see going forward, that a year from now will be fascinating to see how that all plays out. All right, it's after further review. Glad you're with us. Our Tuesday shows are powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Kirk Herbstreit almost left College Game Day. I'll talk about that here in just a quick second. Right now, let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference. The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Draylon Washington, a ULL running back, is now at Alabama. How about that? So if you're scoring at home use, I'm not sure if you saw this, Alabama added an offensive lineman from Ball State who's played in one game in 2 years.
Oh.
And a running back from ULL.
Okay. Heavy haul there, man.
He had 1,300 rushing yards, Muse.
Pretty good.
In 4 years. Yeah, 1,300.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
1,300 rushing yards in 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah. I mean, our guy Kalen DeBose, raking in the talent over there.
He is.
I mean, knocking it out the park with this portal business.
That sounds exactly like somebody Nick Saban would have gone after.
Crushing it. Totes Magoats crushing it. What did you say was next?
The Georgia Bulldogs.
Former Miami defensive back Jaden Harris. He's going to Georgia. 2 seasons with the Canes. He was a 3-star prospect. Now he's headed to Georgia.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
Oh, there were 2 Georgia stories. No. Got to staple them together. You got a stapler, Muse?
I don't. I'm going to get one, though, now that you said that.
Let's ask Landon.
Well, we're just making a list for Landon.
When Landon gets you the dry erase board cleaner and my Clorox wipes, and you get your calendar from Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana, ask for a stapler as well. UAB transferred defensive back Adrian Maddox. He's flipped from Florida to Georgia.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
So, hey, Muse, remember when I told you that Alabama got a lineman from Ball State who played in 1 game in 2 years?
1 game in 2 years.
And a running back from ULL that had 1,300 rushing yards in 4 years combined?
Yep.
Well, Amari Jefferson is leaving Alabama, going to Tennessee. See, he was a high 4-star prospect who went to Tennessee, also plays baseball too. I'm sorry, went to Alabama. Now he's leaving Alabama and going to Tennessee. So you see Alabama is losing a top-tier wide receiver, but they're gaining an offensive lineman from Ball State who played in 1 game in 2 years.
And
Kalen DeBose, crushing it.
And the running back.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
A running back from UL Lafayette who had 1,300 rushing yards over 4 seasons combined.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Ismail Cisse, Stanford wide receiver. He signed with Arkansas. He's got 3 years of eligibility remaining.
The Oklahoma Sooners.
And Oklahoma Edge, R. Mason Thomas. I like when you have a name that's 1 letter. Like it's R. Mason Thomas.
F. Scott Fitzgerald.
You see, here's my question, though. Sort of. But, like, F. Scott Fitzgerald is like F. period.
Yeah.
Scott Fitzgerald. So he's got a first name. R. Mason Thomas, there's no period, which leads me to believe his name is R. Mason. Can you look up his bio? I want to see what his given name is. What does his mama call him? I think it's R. Mason. Anyway, our Mason Thomas, he's going back to OU next season. He'll play his senior year for the Sooners. Had 9 sacks in 2024. Plays his entire career in Norman. There you have it. That is Around the SEC. While Musso looks up and solves our R. Mason dilemma here, I'll remind you about Shaw Bills. Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. Locations all over South Louisiana, and I always encourage you to go to the website, ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. Hit the Dealer Specials tab, and you can see all of the great deals that they have going on right now at Shaw Bills. So go to the website. Again, it's the Promotions tab right there at the top, and you'll see all of the dealer specials that they have going on. Like right now, they've got this great deal going on with, this is BF Goodrich. Oh, yeah. Best tires on the road, cheapest price possibles. You can instantly get $50 off a set of 4 BF Goodrich tires and free installation, which is a $118 value when you use your Shaw Bills credit card. That offer is valid from January 1st to January 31st. You can see store or ShawBillsTire.com for full details, subject to credit approval. That's at ShawBillsTire.com. That's ShawBillsTire.com. You can go get all of the deets right there. It's Shaw Bills, where we keep you rolling. Muse, do we have a...
That's his name.
See?
R. Mason Thomas.
I thought so.
Yeah.
See, that the difference is, Muse, if you're doing a... if you're abbreviating a name, then you use a period, like
Right.
your middle initial, like for
Correct.
your mom.
No.
When she's doing Marilyn Monroe Musso, it'd be Marilyn M. period Musso.
Not it. Nope.
Like when you're doing your initials, it's Matthew O. period Musso, short for Octavius. Matthew Octavius Musso.
No. That's not it. That's not it.
I'll get it one day. But if you're just allowing that letter to stand freely, that's your name. So he is named R. Mason, like
R.
letter
Mason.
R. Mason Thomas. I mean, I think that's a
I kind of like it.
That's
Yeah.
a power play.
It's swaggy. I like it.
It's a power play. All right, Shea Dixon in 18 minutes from right now. Kirk Herbstreit was on Andy and Ari, which is in it kind of sounds like in boy, I'm in a little bit of a mood today. I'm kind of in a little lighthearted mood. You know that song? I love this song, Muse. With
Kind of in a lighthearted mood. Anyway,
with
continue.
Ariana Grande.
Are you not
and
normally?
Jesse. Well, it depends. It depends on what I'm
That's
talking
true.
about.
Okay.
If Mickey Loomis is pissing me off, then no, I'm not in a
That's
lighthearted
true.
mood. Jesse, and then Nicki Minaj. It's the song that's Bang Bang. You ever heard that song?
Yes, I have heard that
I
song.
love that song, by the way. There's a
Okay.
part when Nicki comes on the track and she's like, Jesse and Ari, something Ferrari. Anyway, you can play that next segment.
Okay.
It's cue it to that part.
Okay.
Actually, I don't know. That may not be safe.
I could try to find an edited version.
Okay. Anyway, Andy and Ari. Like that a lot. I wonder if that's Ari Temkin. No, Ari Temkin's was serious.
It's Wasserman.
Oh, Ari Wasserman. That's not nearly as fun. Ari Temkin's way better. Anyway, so Kirk was on their show and said he almost gave up on College Game Day.
I thought when I took the Amazon deal 3 years ago that I would probably have to give something up because it's so hard to do all 3 of these things. And then not knowing that Pat would become a regular and that obviously Coach Saban would retire, I had no idea. But now, man, you couldn't kick me off the set. Like I absolutely love it. We're having a blast. And I hope it'll last a long time, having that group together.
That's interesting. It's pretty well known, the schedule that Kirk keeps now to fly all over the place and do everything, which is not an easy thing to do. But can you imagine if Kirk Herbstreit wasn't on College Game Day? I mean, what's interesting is as Chris Fowler has left and Reese Davis has come in, you still had a seamless transition there. And as Lee Corso his role has diminished, as we know, he's getting up in advance in age and his health is failing. His role has been lessened. But you've seen Pat McAfee and Nick Saban come in. David Pollock's been gone. There's been a ton of turnover. It was so stable for so long with Chris and Kirk and Lee, and it's expanded and changed and evolved and adapted, but it's maintained. You really wonder, but like, if Kirk Herbstreit wasn't there, what would happen to the show? Because it does feel like he is the glue now. Like, he has been the constant and the glue that's holding the thing together. I don't know that if he left, if it would fall apart. Maybe it's established enough and it's so stable of an entity enough to where, like, even Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve. I mean, Dick Clark's been dead for a decade. They still call it Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve or whatever they call it. And it's Ryan Seacrest. It still just rolls along because it's what everybody watches. I guess what most people watch. Maybe that's the same here. But my goodness, even as Fox, the Big Noon Saturday, has tried to steal market share, they haven't succeeded really in the least in doing so because game day is just a behemoth. But you wonder, could there ever be that point where something comes along and does? Maybe if Kirk leaves, that would be the point. But Herbie acknowledged he almost left, but chugs along. Okay, it's After Further Review. Let me knock out a break, wrap up hour number one. Darren Rizzy will interview for the Saints head coaching job, but as it turns out, there's another NFL head coaching opening that has requested to interview Darren Rizzy for their job. We'll tell you who next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Y'all, I know a day like today, it is hard to think about the spring, but let me take you there. I mean, right now, I woke up this morning, it was 29 degrees. It's 45 right now. And on a day like this where it's icy, where you're just like running to your car to get out of the cold and you want to get inside and you want to be by a fire and you want to put on a jacket and a hat because it's so cold, allow yourself to be warmed with the thought of your backyard paradise. What it's going to be like on those beautiful spring and summer days when you walk out your back door and dive into your own beautiful custom swimming pool. When you enjoy a meal in your spacious, luxurious outdoor kitchen. Those are the types of days when we live in Louisiana that we live for. And Duplessis Builders makes that a reality. Whatever you dream, they can make a reality. It's duplessisbuilders.net. Start there online at duplessisbuilders.net.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Atmos Energy, our smart choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You.
After Further Review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
There it is, Muse. Hey, go scroll back like 15 seconds so you build up to it. Yeah, here comes. It's me, Jesse, and Ari. They test me. I'm sorry. That's what they got to name their show, Muse. What's that guy's name?
But it's not. It's Andy
It's
Staples.
Andy and Ari. So it's Andy Staples. Andy just has to suck it up. Or they need to do an edit. It's me, Andy, and Ari is how they have to do it.
Yeah.
And have someone do it like whenever Jordy used to do the spring football practice reports for us. We very badly cut the if you like pina coladas, and we cut out pina and put Jordy. Yeah. But it was like three of us just singing. It was which was a terrible edit. See if you can find that, please. Okay. It's got to be in there.
I used to have it on a button for the spring reports, but I don't have it anymore. I'll try to find it though.
Do we have a contact for I don't know Ari, but do we have a contact for Andy? Because I know Andy. So. I feel like I should send Andy. I'd be like, hey Andy, here's an idea for you for your show. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Bang, bang, bang.
See if it works.
Bang, 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 bang. I love that song. Jam. What year was that? It's like 2014. About 10 years old, huh? Got to be about 10 years old. Paul, you know that song? You love that song, Paulie? Look at Paul over there jamming it.
I do like that song. It's very good.
So good.
I wanted to end it real quick before I didn't want it to.
No worries, Moose. We'll just wait for you. There's not people
I'm
like.
sorry, I didn't want anything else to play. I didn't want anything else to play. The answers are right at your fingertips.
Yep.
I got it for you right here. 2014. You nailed it.
How about your guy? Tell you what, Muse. Sometimes a blind squirrel finds a nut. How about that?
I'm not going to say blind squirrel. You said you like that song a lot.
I love that song.
There you go. I mean, you know.
Bang, 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 bang. Anyway, how about this? So Darren Rizzy is going to interview for the Saints job. We know that. However, that's not the only job Darren Rizzy is going to interview for. There was a report today from Nick Underhill. Shout out. It's a great job. At New Orleans Football. Oh, sorry, Paulie. That the Jets have requested to interview Darren Rizzy for their head coaching opening. So sometimes third-party validation is very powerful. The fact that the Jets, from a distance, looked at the job Darren Rizzy did in very unfortunate circumstances with all of the injuries and managed to overcome a 7-game losing streak to get a couple of wins, actually got 3 wins as the interim head coach, was like, I don't want to minimize the job Darren Rizzy did, which was impressive considering. I don't know that it's enough to get him this job with other and perhaps better candidates out there, but clearly other teams took notice. Now, there is one candidate who will interview for the Jets job who has already said he's going to get the job, and that's former Jets head coach Rex Ryan, who was on 880 ESPN in New York and said, yeah, like he's getting the Jets job.
You think you're going to get this job, right? You think you're going to be the next head coach of the Jets?
Oh, 100%. Absolutely, I do. And the reason I think I'm going to get it is because I'm the best guy. And it ain't close. The thing that you have to do, you have to connect with a football team. You have to connect with your fan base. And the way they play, that's the most important thing. Not just the X's and O's and all that. Look, this Ben Johnson, I love him. I absolutely love him. But I'm a better candidate for this job than he would be.
This Ben Johnson. He just channeled his inner John Gruden. This Ben Johnson. This Ben Johnson. Rex Ryan went like full pro wrestler, didn't he? Like pro wrestlers don't, like athletes usually, when a mic's in front of their face, are tempered, right? It's coach speak. Oh, we're going to go out there and play our best. Got a lot of respect for the opponent. Pro wrestlers tell you what they're going to do. I'm going to take... Well, I was going to default to Muse was like 80s wrestlers because it's all I know.
There you go.
You know,
you're going to go a little Ultimate Warrior there?
I was just going to be like, the Warrior's going to end Hulkamania.
Some Macho Man?
That's what I was going to.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
there you go.
And on Saturday night, Hogan, yeah, is going to be wishing he never's bored. Yeah. I don't know. How was that? Good?
That was not bad. No, it was not bad. Yeah.
It's been a minute. I've never even really workshopped that.
Yeah.
That was just right off the cuff. That's what like Rex Ryan is doing there. That feels more like a prediction than like him reporting news. But I played number 2 as well. This is Rex Ryan. One more.
Clearly, when you have a guy that doesn't show up for mandatory minicamp, and by the way, is your quarterback coming off an injury, I think that's an absolutely ridiculous message you sent to the team. If he comes back, things would be different. If he's back, it ain't going to be the country club, show up whenever the hell you want to show up. That ain't going to happen. So I'll just leave it at that.
You tell him, Rex, because star quarterbacks don't ever get preferential treatment. All right. Shea Dixon, right after SportsCenter. Stay here.
AFR.
Y'all, Supper Club back open. They're closed Sunday, Monday. Open Tuesday to Saturday. Maybe as we start the new year, you got a big celebration coming up, an anniversary, a birthday. Whenever you got that special event coming, go get your reservation at Supper Club. Go to supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com. Holidays in the rearview mirror. You ready for that date night to unwind a little bit after all the stresses of the holidays? You can do it over at Supper Club. Maybe you're entertaining a client who's in town, family in town. Supper Club is the spot right there on Perkins Road near Bluebonnet. Book your reservation at supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com. Remember, open seating at the bar. So tonight, you knock off of work, you want to drive on by Supper Club? Perfect. Maybe grab some coworkers, go have a glass of wine or a cocktail, go close some business before you go out. Whatever the case may be, you could do it at Supper Club. SupperClubbTR.com. That's Supper Club.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Got chores that need some extra muscle, but a large piece of equipment is overkill? That's what John Deere compact utility tractors were made for. Powerful enough for the work you need to do. Compact enough for how you need to do it. Find the equipment that's right for you at Sunshine Quality Solutions. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold Refreshment. Dave's back on. Coors Light. Choose chill.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news, the Raiders are looking for their fourth head coach in less than 4 years. They fired Antonio Pierce after a season in which Vegas lost 10 straight at one point, did not win a single game against the AFC West. GM Tom Telesco will return. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports Raiders limited owner Tom Brady expected to be part of a collaborative committee to interview head coaching candidates and support team owner Mark Davis. ESPN NFL analyst Mina Kimes.
I'll be interested in seeing how much he wants to find a coach. His decision or the qualities he's looking for pertain to the environment for the quarterback, right? Like if they are going for a young quarterback, is he going to be leaning towards getting an offensive mind, someone with play calling experience, or drawing on his own experience in New England? Is it more about a program builder?
The Titans fired GM Rand Carthon. His 2-year tenure included a 9-25 record and drafting quarterback Will Levis in the second round. Coach Brian Callahan will be back. Tennessee has the top overall pick in the draft. Lions running back David Montgomery expected to return from an MCL sprain for the NFC divisional round.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Canty. Coming up Wednesday, the Ravens are heavy favorites against the Steelers. So what would another playoff loss mean for Lamar's legacy? It's Unsportsmanlike, weekday mornings at 6, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
You should. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. John Brady will join us from Como in 30 minutes. LSU Hoops on the road. We'll talk to the former Tiger coach about it. Sean Salisbury, 1 hour from right now. Shea Dixon, good enough to join us as he does every Tuesday. We'll talk a little portal. Shady, how are you, man?
I'm doing well. How are you, Matt? Happy New Year.
Thanks, man. Same to you. So LSU's at 14 portal additions. And, I kind of heard rumblings that maybe they got some silent commits that they're waiting on. But my goodness, they're like rolling in 3 more targets this week to campus. Can you make sense out of what they're doing? Like Brian Kelly said, they'd probably settle somewhere around the 15 number, but they keep bringing in more guys. Why?
I think just to take swings at positions you still need. No doubt safety is the priority. They do not have a pure safety committed at this stage. And early on, there were guys that they felt like they were going to land, others that they felt like would go into the portal. And I guess the most notable probably was Poyser coming out of Jacksonville State. He kind of immediately visited LSU, but it ended up being Miami that got him. And from there, just Matt, they're like Caleb Downs, and these guys aren't entering the portal this year. So when buzz happens around teams out there of very talented safeties, guys with upside, multiple years left, experience, that it's suddenly you look and Tennessee, A&M, Florida, whomever it is, and LSU certainly, but relative to the discussion of trying to find safeties in the portal, these teams have buckled in and kept a lot of their notable guys. So we'll see. This week will be one we watch with, as you said, a safety, a couple DBs coming in, a tight end coming in, which we know has been a priority spot for him. And Brian Kelly himself said that O-line is still something they want to go for with 2 guys left. So they're at 14. I, too, had heard it was 15 before it was publicly said by Kelly that was the range. But getting to 15 is a start, obviously, and we could certainly see him eclipse that.
You mentioned guys with multiple years of eligibility. Shea, do you think this is sort of like signaling a change in approach a bit, going after guys in the portal with multiple years of eligibility, so it almost feels like you're not resetting so much of the roster year after year after year?
Yeah, I think in a way they kind of did that at quarterback, right? If you want to give like an example of Michael Van Buren, he was a freshman. He played at State whenever Shea got their starter quarterback got injured. Started double-digit games for State this past year, and was a highly touted recruit coming out of high school. And now he's the backup quarterback to Garrett Nussmeier, and he has multiple years left. So with Nuss only having 1 year left, is Michael Van Buren the heir apparent? Do they sign somebody? Do they land another portal guy next year? We don't know, but they've at least set themselves up very well with the guy they know, hey, he's got a few years left, and if he takes over next year, great. If it's the year after, we don't know, but either way, he's on roster and you feel a bit better about the position. But I also think the flip side's there, Matt. There's some intrigue in guys who only have 1 year left because, let's say, the head coach really loves Matt Moscona, but he's a true freshman, and we need to really kind of develop him. Well, then you bring in Shea because he only has a year left, and you can get him on your roster and then off of your scholarship count and NIL and everything else in 1 year, and that buys time for you to step up and start at whatever position it might be. So there's a lot of that in play. I think guys who are talented, instant starters with a year left, teams that actually do recruit well and are trying to develop guys, they're quick to go after that type.
And Moscona, high upside, lots of potential as a
I put me in the sort of, I'm just bridge the gap to you.
Got to do that. Hey, let's talk about Tamarcus Cooley and Keontae Scott, the DBs that LSU is bringing in. Thoughts on those guys, how they might fit, if you think LSU lands one of them?
Yeah, I think at this stage, at least based off of kind of what I've heard so far, is that a priority target is Cooley. He is a safety in the eyes of the LSU staff. NC State had all four of their starting DBs enter the portal, all on one day, too, which is a big blow. So all these kids are visiting different schools, a lot of them with SEC schools, but Cooley was at Ole Miss yesterday. I guess he'll probably leave today. He'll be at LSU next, and then on his schedule is Missouri and Kentucky. So you'd have 4 SEC schools if he goes through with all of them. But 6 foot, 200, started plenty of games. I know PFF is you can use it when you want to use it, and when it doesn't make any sense, it doesn't. But for what it's worth, he was the highest graded guy on the highest graded player on their defense this past year at NC State. So he'll be one to watch, I think, because they've got to find at least one safety. And as we learned a year ago, you hate to go into the spring portal season with a real need. So I think they want to come away with this safety here. And as you said, multiple NC State guys, and then Donovan Green, the tight end, who coming from A&M was just freshman All-American. He was a big-time recruit. And then he got injured, and then out a year, and then last year he played this past season, played special teams and in a couple blowout games, and I think he just needed a fresh start of, hey, look, I may not be back to where I was as that elite five-star type guy that A&M grabbed, but LSU just needs some depth at the position, and he's a guy who I think if healthy or even at 80% of what he once was, is a pretty talented prospect. So we'll see how the league goes. Maybe they do keep the 15, 16 guys, and I think that LSU's goal, Matt, right now, and we'll see them battle Ole Miss a lot in the portal. They have already, but that's where Cooley, the safety we mentioned from NC State, is. And he was once committed there out of high school before he decommitted and then stayed closer to home. So if he gets out of Oxford without signing and ends up coming to LSU's campus for that visit, that's notable because it means he's certainly open to what LSU's pitching, which is a chance to start.
He's on Twitter at Shea Dixon, on 3 the Bengal Tiger. One more quick follow-up on Green. Why would it make sense for Green to come to a spot where LSU's already added Bauer Sharp and you've got Trey'Dez Green? The path to the field doesn't exactly seem clear.
I think he's just looking for a fresh start, and the path to the field at A&M this past season was no more clear for him. But at the same time, if he's in a new environment, look, you say that, but in reality, Trey'Dez is going to flex out and you would think be that pass catcher that we saw in the bowl game, right? And now, granted, he was in line on that play where he sold the block and then released and got his second touchdown, which was a really nice play design and call. But primarily, you're trying to flex him out, mismatch him. So who are your tight ends? And beyond Mason Taylor, remember, they've lost a handful of guys. Markway, Gilbreth. I mean, they were running borderline them. In there as sort of 6 O-linemen that were, wearing tight end jerseys, basically. But I would think that he sees it as, look, Bauer Sharp has, a year left, maybe 2 years. I don't even know if he's got multiple. But at the same time, hey, I can come in and compete with him. We've both got experience, and if I can get things right, then I can be a pass catcher and an inline guy, because you're talking about a guy that's well over 260 and is seen as someone who can do both. So there really just isn't much depth in that room if you kind of consider Trey-Dez isn't going to be doing much inline blocking for you. Right now it's just Bauer Sharp and whomever else they decide to put there. So I think there's still a little bit of appeal there, especially for a guy like Green.
Shea, one guy, if you jump back to safety, that I get asked about all the time, I'm sure you do too, is Jacoby Matthews. I'm curious what you've heard at all there, if anything.
Just nothing ever got off the ground there between LSU and Jacoby, who obviously came out of Ponchatoula. I didn't really hear anything kind of from the start of that would be a target. And as time went on and the need for safety continued, that hasn't changed. And I really have not, Matt, seen anything out there about which teams are on him. So I don't know how that one ends up after signing with A&M. And I believe he, after that, went JUCO. I haven't kept up with it closely.
He didn't play football this year.
Okay, so he just sat out. That maybe explains a little bit more of why we haven't seen teams left and right that are very much out there and needs Georgia, LSU, Ole Miss. I mean, that might be the higher level teams, but at the same time, they have a big need at safety. And I haven't seen his name pop up anywhere. So that's curious to me. I've not thought about that one in a few weeks here.
Shea, is there any other name or position or something you feel like we should be keeping an eye on right now as LSU seemingly puts the finishing touches on this portal class?
I think safety and tight end, obviously, and if some best available comes out here, because remember, the portal's closed, but for every team that played in the bowl game, when your season ends, you get 5 extra days there for a kid to enter the portal. LSU's 5 days are up now. We'll see if anybody else pops up, but that would have put them at 19 guys leaving. And I say that for this is that if everyone that's currently announced is staying, they're still looking for a tackle. And they've been high on Tyree Adams, and we know Weston Davis was a 5-star, but it seems, could you put Weston Davis at right tackle next year and feel good about it? I'd say they'd probably say yeah, but their portal approach is aggressive enough to where they're going out there and trying to say, hey, let's keep adding starters. We added a center, we added a guard. That's the 2 transfers on the O-line so far. Can you add a guy at right tackle or left tackle that's got proven experience and, again, maybe bridges that gap a bit more and but maybe even more so competition and puts you in a spot where next year you're competing or expected to compete, right, Matt? This is a really impressive portal class after a really nice signing class of high school guys and a returning starting quarterback who's considered arguably, maybe against Drew Aller, and I don't know what Quinn Ewers is up to, but one of the best quarterbacks in college football next year. I would have to think that sort of their moves here are showing us it. And if they add another alignment, Matt, that they're pretty bought into winning, literally, next year.
Yeah. Oh, man. A tackle and a safety, and you are like starting caliber players, right? And you were looking a lot like, say, Ohio State or Ole Miss did at this point a year ago, come out of their portal cycle. So
that's what I've been most impressed by is all that this group, Matt, is all the majority, not Ben Buren, let's say, but 90% of the 14 guys they've taken are, you would look at them and say they're probably going to start, if not compete to. And that wasn't the case for the prior classes. And they had to take a lot of guys 2 years ago, but last year I think they took 7 and maybe a few of them started. But you might get close to 10 starters out of this portal class, which is the definition of what Brian Kelly said of being aggressive. They've lived up to it.
Shea Dixon, On3, the Bengal Tiger. You'll get him on Twitter at Shea Dixon. Go read his stuff there at On3. Shea, we appreciate it, man. Thanks again. Happy New Year.
Yep, Happy New Year, Matt.
All right, be well. We're brought to you by Evermore. Drink Evermore. Always have mine here during the show. Love to drink Evermore. The challenge I always issue you is if you drink bottled water, if you don't, you should. And if you do, make sure you're drinking Evermore. First of all, it's a Louisiana product, so you're supporting a great Louisiana company. But more importantly, it's delicious. It tastes great. And it's a healthier alternative. It's natural artesian water. There's nothing added. There's nothing taken away. Go grab the bottles of some of those popular water brands, and you'll see like minerals added for flavor and things like that on the bottle of water. Like you think what you're drinking is pure natural water. No. Evermore is, however. It's natural artesian water. It doesn't touch air. It's out of a natural artesian well right into the bottling plant, into your bottle capped. It doesn't touch air until you uncap it. It's Evermore. EVAMOR to find retailers near you or to order online. Evermore.com. Drink Evermore. All right, it's after further review. Thanks to Shea. John Brady in 15 minutes. Get you a little preview of LSU and Missouri up in Como tonight. Ross Dellenger was here last hour. If you missed anything, you can always get AFR on demand, presented by Breck Golf. Book your tee time at golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org. Quick break. When we come back, the GOAT has thrown out his endorsement. Who Drew Brees wants to see become the new Saints head coach? You'll hear it next on AFR.
After further review.
Man, I had a good convo today. My buddy Chuck over at Action Industries. Great Louisiana company, great local company. Been in business since 1982, going on 43 years now as the calendar turns to 2025. Of course, servicing the petrochemical refinery markets. It's Action Industries. And as we've gone here in the past couple of years, I've been able to tell you plenty about Action Industries. And what I'm thrilled to be able to tell you about here over these next 6 months or so, and probably longer as well, is the Advanced Turnaround Group. At the Advanced Turnaround Group, this is a part of Action Industries. They have assembled a core group that have built their careers on turnaround execution. They're not just taking any workers from Action Industries and throwing them in the turnaround world. This is a completely different pool of resources under the Action Industries umbrella. So if you want to learn more, go to actionindinc.com for Action Industries Incorporated. It's the Advanced Turnaround Group at Action Industries, proud partner of LSU Athletics.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Got chores that need some extra muscle, but a large piece of equipment is overkill? That's what John Deere compact utility tractors were made for. Powerful enough for the work you need to do. Compact enough for how you need to do it. Find the equipment that's right for you at Sunshine Quality Solutions. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
That's what gets me. She thinks my tractor's sexy.
The Hooters College Football Bowl Pick'em Challenge presented by Yingling is underway. Make sure to check the leaderboard and your inbox to see if you qualified for the final round of picks and your shot at $1,000 cash and $200.
Look out. What was that?
Frog in the throat.
Did you almost throw up?
No, it just had a catch there.
If you're going to spew into this.
Excuse me. I'm sorry about that, gang.
Oh. Paulie, what do you think's going on over there at 421? Excuse me.
Little frog in there, huh? Yes.
Coincidentally got a frog in his throat at 421, huh? Right, Paul? I mean, hey, Paulie,
Right.
Paulie, this stuff writes itself, huh?
It does.
Yeah, right? Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Muse, please. By all means,
I was
finish.
going to say, can I finish the read?
Excuse me.
If you made the final round of picks, you still have your shot at $1,000 cash and $200 from Hooters. Our grand prize winner will be notified January 13th. It's the Hooters College Football Bowl Pick'em Challenge presented by Yingling at 1045ESPN.com.
I bet you could go for some Hooters wings now, couldn't you, Muse? Once you start to hit.
I do love wings. Wings are great. Chicken wings are one of my favorites.
Of all the times in the world. Like right at 421. I mean.
Nor the fact I've been coughing all day long, but yeah, sure, whatever. It's fine.
I mean, I've been sitting in here with you now for an hour and 22 minutes. Haven't heard you cough once.
You are
Paul,
a liar.
Have you heard him cough once since we've been sitting here for an hour and 22 minutes?
I have not, no.
Yeah, me either. Tell you what. You know what I have heard? I've heard Drew Brees endorse Aaron Glenn to be the new Saints head coach. Hat tip Chrissy Freud, who spoke to Brees, and he told her, quote, he, Glenn, would be my top pick right now. I'll read the quote. The first guy who comes to my mind is Aaron Glenn, arguably one of the greatest defensive backs to ever play the game. That's kind of a stretch. Come on. I played against him. Look at music. Now, all of a sudden, he's just coughing a lot. I mean, Paulie, it just happened like that. What's going on over there? Just all of a sudden, 420 hits, and then Muse starts coughing.
Pure coincidence, right?
Total coincidence. Let's get back to the quote here. Muse, can we get back to the quote?
I encourage that, actually.
Let's do that.
Yeah, do that.
Do Panama Red. Arguably one of I thought that would get him.
It's just the name of the boy's magical dragon.
It's Jerusalem. Can you deal with that? As we've explained many times, there's a handful of movies in the world where if you quote any line from those movies at any time, you will get a laugh from Muse. Meet the Parents is one of those. So again, back to Brees. I played against him. I was a teammate of his too. He's a leader of men. He garners a ton of respect. He knows the game. He's highly competitive. He's great interacting with the players and is an exceptional teacher. I think he would put together a great staff as well that will come out and continue to accentuate New Orleans currently. I guess it's supposed to be what New Orleans currently has in the locker room with his talent. So Drew Brees endorsing Aaron Glenn. Dan Campbell, the head coach of the Detroit Lions, was meeting with reporters, and he too endorsed Aaron Glenn, not necessarily for the Saints job, but for any job.
Aaron Glenn he's as good a coach as you're going to find. He's an even better human being, but look, if nobody wants him, I'll take him again. I can tell you that right now. But the thought of going through another cycle and he's not somebody's head coach is ridiculous. I mean, this guy is as good as they come, and he can do it all. He understands how to manage a game. He understands offense, defense, special teams. He knows how to communicate. He understands discipline of players. And he's motivating, man. He's inspiring. Anyway, I don't want to lose him, but I also root for the guy because I just think he's a hell of a coach. Aaron Glenn.
I mean, you start to have those types of people line up in your corner. It is powerful. And I've told you my feeling on Aaron Glenn. It's like I am acknowledging full on, this is unfair to Aaron Glenn. Like I am acknowledging that. And this is just my opinion. And I don't know that you share it, but I have the feeling that many of you do. I just don't want any association with the Peyton Breeze era. Like, I love that era. It's the greatest era in the history of the organization. And we should put it on a shelf and cherish it forever. But we just saw the Saints do this. We just saw them do this with Dennis Allen to try to extend and continue and prolong that culture. And it didn't work. It fell apart. Look at where you are now. This was the result of trying to replicate, try to run it back with that era. You need to do something completely new and different. That's just my opinion. And again, that's unfair to Aaron Glenn, who I trust is all the things that Dan Campbell and Drew Brees said he is. And I think he probably will go and be he's a great defensive coordinator, probably go be a great head coach. But I think for New Orleans, circumstance and context matters, and I want to see them do something different. We asked the question yesterday on a Twitter poll, and again, it's a Twitter poll and it's a small sample size, but my guess, my theory was that Saints fans were going to want Joe Brady because of the LSU ties and all that sort of stuff. So I had Muse put up a Twitter poll. Go ahead and read it, Muse.
Yeah, we said, who do you want to be the Saints head coach? Joe Brady, Aaron Glenn, Mike Vrabel, other.
That's a good all-encompassing list.
I agree.
Right? There's more, but other would seem to be all-encompassing. And Vrabel would be like everybody's front runner right now, like for all the jobs. Okay, go ahead.
Yep. Joe Brady did win the poll, 42.4%, followed by Vrabel, followed by other, and then Aaron Glenn brought up the rear.
So, again, small sample size. I'm not sitting here saying that that's a definitive sample, a representative sample of the entire Saints fan base. But we listed Brady, Vrabel, other, and Glenn. Brady was at 42%, Vrabel at 22%, other at 21%. Aaron Glenn was at 14%. 86% of the people who responded said they wanted someone other than Aaron Glenn. So, again, I don't. It's not fair. I'm acknowledging it's not fair to Aaron Glenn. It's just the reality of kind of the circumstance that faces the New Orleans Saints right now. All right, we're brought to you by Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. I had a buddy today, as a matter of fact, shoot me a text. Said, hey, man, who do I contact over at Parish? Think we need a new roof. And I said, hey, man, just send me your address. Send me your address, and I'll get someone on it right now. I'm always happy to facilitate if you'd like me to. You can email me. You can tweet me. You can text me. If you need a roof inspection, we'd love to help you out, and I'm more than happy to facilitate all that for you. Hit me on the show text line. You can email me, matt@1045espn.com, matt@parishbuilt.com. Lots of ways you can get me. But the bottom line is, if you need a roof repair replacement, we'd love to help, commercial or residential. As a matter of fact, just polished off a new roof on a school in the greater New Orleans area, rather than not say the name of the school. We've got our commercial roofing manager, Matt Pearson, does an awesome job. He'll be over at a school in the greater Baton Rouge area on Friday doing a walkthrough with their facilities manager. So it doesn't matter how big or small your job is, if it's tile, if it's shingle, if it's slate, the TPO that we talk about, we'd love to help you out. It's Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Do business with someone you know. Parish Construction and Roofing, that's parishbuilt.com. All right, y'all, after further review, we're glad you're hanging out with us here halfway through this Tuesday show powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Sean Salisbury will be here in 30 minutes. I'll ask him his thoughts on Aaron Glenn. I'll ask him his thoughts on the Saints coaching search. I'll ask him his thoughts on what the Saints should do with Derek Carr next year. And we'll talk playoffs coming up this week in the NFL and in college football. So Sean Salisbury for a couple segments, 30 minutes from right now. When we come back, head up to Como. John Brady will join us. He'll be on the call with Chris Blair for LSU and Missouri. Can the Tigers, the LSU Tigers, get in the win column in conference play? We'll preview it next with Coach Brady on AFR.
After further review.
You know, for about the last 8 years, I've told you about my own personal experience with hormone replacement therapy. And sometimes it's taboo and guys don't like to talk about it. But what I want to stress to you that's so important is that there's nothing that you or I or anyone did wrong. We all age. We age at a different rate. And sometimes stressors and other things can accelerate the aging process. For me, that was our hospital experience with Drew. I was in my mid-30s, and I had the testosterone level of a 70-year-old man. Nothing I did wrong, just was my life circumstance. And I think for so many of us, we don't realize how bad we feel until we start feeling good again. A simple blood test can let you know if you're a candidate for hormone replacement therapy. Would highly recommend you do this. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Hormone replacement therapy, ED treatment as well, and a variety of other men's health services. You can check it out online at yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com for Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Well, she ain't in the car zone.
The plan of attack for us, especially on these Saturday, Tuesdays, guys got to make good decisions, get rested up tonight, then we got to come in tomorrow. We'll learn from the film, and then we'll immediately turn our attention to Missouri on the road Tuesday night. And I think how you handle adversity, how you handle winning, how you handle losing is obviously going to be critical as we go through this league with the strength of the league this season.
Matt McMahon, LSU seeking their first conference win here in the 2024-2025 season. The guy that's experienced quite literally every end of the spectrum you can in college basketball is John Brady, LSU Sports Radio Network. He and Chris Blair will be on the call. Of course, our sister station, Eagle 98.1, the LSU flagship. They'll have it tonight. Coach joins us from Como. Coach, how are you? Happy New Year.
Now, you too, Matt. Good to hear from you, man. It's cold up here in old Columbia, Missouri. I tell you, it's like 3 feet of snow and iced over and thawed out a little bit today, and it's going to drop down to about 5 this evening and get cold again. So I'm ready to get home.
Can we kick them out the league? I mean, 5 degrees in the SEC?
Comment.
Come on.
Yeah, I made that comment today. Missouri gets much more out of the affiliation with the SEC than the SEC does being affiliated with them. That's the truth.
Is it nice that you're not coaching anymore so you can say that on the radio?
Well, you said one true thing. I've experienced every swing of the pendulum in coaching, and that is a true statement. That is exactly true.
Well, it's interesting because, I mean, look, you're the coach of a Final Four team, but you also took over a situation at LSU, not that dissimilar from what Matt McMahon did, where that first year was just going to be, hey, look, you and I have talked about it. It was just, look, get through it and start to build through. But can you – I don't think any of us have ever seen the SEC this deep, but do you have a comp for the deepest that you can remember the league being like it is this year?
Well, I think we've had, 5 or 6 teams that are really good. Back in 06 when we went to the Final Four, Florida and ourselves were, in the Final Four. But in terms of the depth of the league, I've never seen it as good. There's 10 or 12 teams that are really good. And like in the preseason, if this means anything, which I think with the transfer portal and all of the changing of college teams, it's hard to predict who's good and who isn't. But, Vandy and LSU were picked in the bottom 4. And if you're going to do something in the league, you need to win the home games. And that was certainly an opportunity based on preseason predictions for LSU the other night. We fell short. So where do you go to pick that up? And it doesn't get any easier.
And you're right. And look, I mean, I saw LSU picked in the bottom 4. I scoffed because I thought clearly they're much better. But, in a 16-team league, like somebody's going to finish last. And this is a really deep, talented league. For LSU, the bugaboo has been turning over the basketball. How do you work on that?
Well, I think anything you need to improve on, you put situations in practice that makes your teams better, and you practice your weaknesses. You just stress in the practice and try to make the practice more difficult in the game. And if our turnover situation is too high, we create double teams. We try to trap the ball. We let our second or third team or whatever full court presses. We run and jump. We do everything possible to understand when the trap is coming and how to handle it once it gets there. And then not only passing it out of the trap, but passing it to the correct and open player. And then that's a distribution of how you put your players when the double team happens. So you just got to make good decisions. I could say something really crazy like recruit better players, but but the ones you have are the ones you have, and you just have to improve them every day in practice with situations that make them better against turning the ball over and making proper decisions. You set up situations where they improve.
And you got a veteran backcourt. I mean, you'd think in theory they would be able to go handle a road situation like this, but on Saturday you faced Vanderbilt, who right now is number 3 in the country in steals. Missouri's number 6 in the country in steals. So it would seem to not be a great matchup. What are your thoughts, Coach, on that matchup tonight with that Missouri defense against this LSU offense?
Well, I don't think Missouri is going to shoot it from the perimeter as well as Vandy did when they needed to make some baskets the second half. I was a little concerned at halftime that Vandy was 2 for 12 from the 3 or something along those lines. The second half, they went 6 for 12. I knew they were going to hit some threes at some point because they're a better shooting team than they displayed the first 20 minutes. I don't think Missouri shoots it that well, and I think what LSU is going to try to do is stay in the gaps. Don't let them beat us at the rim by dribble penetration, and don't let their postmen beat us on the boards. And if they beat us from the 3, so be it. It'd be something they haven't done all year long. So I think that's going to be kind of the approach, and that's the approach I would take. But one of our biggest issues besides turning the ball over is rebounding the ball as well, and we've got to be able to limit teams to just one attempt. The other night, we only had one offensive rebound at the half. So we need to do a better job of getting on the glass, particularly on the road.
Yeah, Missouri is one of the worst rebounding teams in the league. So you would think, right? You would think in theory this is a matchup where LSU probably should own the backboards.
Yeah, and I think we struggle a little bit in the half court to score sometimes. And I think one way to get an easy basket is to motivate yourself to go rebound it when we do shoot it, and you get easy baskets like that. And I think if LSU can get into somewhere the double-figure offensive rebounds, 12 or so, I think it'll certainly enhance our chances to score the ball because, you look at our team. I said this 5 or 6 games ago. Our postmen need to score collectively around the 25-point mark if we're going to average 75 points a game. That makes our perimeter have to get 50 a night, and that's a big number. So if our postmen get 25 collectively, and our 3 or 4 perimeter get 50, that's 75 right on the dot, and we haven't done anything spectacular yet. So one of the ways to enhance scoring for us is to try to get to the offensive glass and get some easy baskets.
John Brady's with us. He and Chris Blair will be on the call. LSU Sports Radio Network in Baton Rouge. That's our sister station, Eagle 98.1. It's an 8 o'clock tip from Como. I know I've listened to you enough to know how big you are on the field goal stat, but if we look, and you might have just answered the question actually, but if we look at the box score after this game and LSU wins it, what's going to be that deciding statistic outside of the field goal statistic that you think will tell the story of this game?
Well, the other night, Matt, we won the field goal stat, lost the game, but they were 14 for 18 from the free throw line the second half. They had 10 offensive rebounds the second half. They got their points in other ways, but if everything else is even, we win the field goal stat, we win the game. I see us tonight. I don't think this needs to be a high-scoring game for LSU on the road. I think we need to limit them to one shot, defend it well without fouling, and try to create some easy baskets. And hopefully Cam Carter can come out and get him 23 or 24 points a game. You know, the other night he tied the game with 6:50 to go at 55. He didn't shoot another ball till he laid it in at the buzzer when the game was over. So he's got to stay more engaged when the game is on the line, because he's one of our best players to be able to do that.
Yeah, I was feeling good at the 8.5 minute mark when he hit that 3 to tie it. Unfortunately, it didn't go the good guy's way. Last thing for you, Coach. This starting 4 or 5 on the road, boy, this league is going to be just a total bear. How important it's the second game of conference play, but how important is this one tonight to kind of get one back after Saturday?
Well, you know, I thought the first 4 games to get a path to 8 wins. You know, I think 8 and 10, no doubt, will get you an NCAA tournament with the strength of the league, no question. So the path to 8 and 10 to me was getting to be 2-2 after the first 4, because after that we go to A&M, to Alabama, have Auburn at home, and it's going to be my chances of getting 2 wins is better in this stretch than it is in the next stretch. So this is an important game for us, because then we go to Ole Miss, who's going to guard us really well, and the best chance after that is Arkansas at home. I think Arkansas is a little overrated. I think the Calipari syndrome is about to seek in on that team, and they're a little soft to me. So we'll see how that plays out. But this is an important game for Missouri and LSU. So hopefully the snow will keep some of the crowd away and we can neutralize it with quality play.
Oh, I can't wait to hear more about that Calipari syndrome, man. I can't wait for that. John Brady is with us. Hey, Coach, it's always our pleasure. Happy New Year. Have a great call, you and Chris, tonight. We always appreciate you.
Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it.
Be well. John Brady. I know I say it every time we talk to Coach. If you don't listen to Coach Brady on the radio, you should. Like, turn down the sound of the TV, listen to Coach Brady and Chris. Like, Coach Brady is awesome on the broadcast. It is a basketball, in my opinion, is the hardest game to call because of the continuous action, and in particular for a color analyst, because you may have, like, after a make, you may have like 4 to 7 seconds to get in, make your point, and get out of the way. And to make a concise, impactful point in like 4 to 7 seconds is not an easy thing to do. And he does a great job of it. So we always appreciate Coach for a couple of minutes. So check out Coach and Chris tonight. 8 o'clock tip from Como, LSU, Missouri. They got to get this one. I mean, LSU's a 7.5-point dog. ESPN's matchup predictor has Missouri at a 63.6% chance of winning. So it's like 64-36. Missouri, you got to go find a way to scratch out a win. With what you have coming up with this starting 4 or 5 on the road, I mean, you may dig yourself too deep a hole to think, he's right, you get to 8 in conference play, you're a tournament team. But after losing to Vanderbilt, it kind of feels more like half that number is what's realistic for this team, but we'll see. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're hanging out with us. Let me knock out a break, come back, and wrap up hour number 2. Muse will have Tigers and the Pros when we come back on AFR.
AFR.
We are brought to you by Clegg's Nursery with 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Siegen near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Buy local, shop local. Hey, it is, our friends over at Clegg's obviously always want us to remind you when you get these cold temps, and certainly when you get freezing temps, to make sure that you take care of your plants and your bushes and everything you need to make sure you do. But the other thing that's really cool, They have so much great information. Like, talk about citrus trees all the time, and this is how it's a great time of year to go by and plant those citrus trees. I got a great post up right now via the LSU Ag Center at the Clegg's Facebook about citrus tree rootstock. So if you want to go check that out, you can. I mean, the citrus tree is a great time. This is a great time to plant a citrus tree, and it's something that can provide enjoyment for your family literally for generations. So get on by, see the amazing selection they have at Clegg's Nursery. Any of the 4 locations. Buy local, shop local for more than 60 years. Tell them Matt sent you into Clegg's Nursery.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Got chores that need some extra muscle, but a large piece of equipment is overkill? That's what John Deere compact utility tractors were made for. Powerful enough for the work you need to do. Compact enough for how you need to do it. Find the equipment that's right for you at Sunshine Quality Solutions. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable. And
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Farmer's tan. She's the only one who really understands what gets me. She thinks my trash.
Shout out Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Oh, by the way, you may not know this. Sunshine actually sells space heaters. So in this cold weather, hunting camp, livestock shows coming up. By the way, shout out to all the members, part of 4-H and FFA, out there showing animals. Or maybe you work in a studio that's like an icebox, Muse, call it.
Yeah, can't confirm. Can't confirm.
Well, you two freeze over there. I'm always quite comfortable in here, which is odd. Everyone acts like this is an icebox, but I'm always quite comfortable. And I'm the one who hates to be cold. Although I did walk into the office. My office is on the 4th floor. And somebody had the AC on.
Oh, no.
But now keep in mind, the AC wasn't blowing.
Right.
Because, I mean, it's freezing. It was like 29 degrees this morning. So naturally, it's just whatever the air temp is. The heater wasn't on. So the temperature of the room keeps dropping. It was 56 degrees on the 4th floor this morning. I'm like, people, what are we doing?
That's wrong.
Like, I don't think people understand with a thermostat, like, You don't just because there's a heat and a cool.
Right.
It's like an industrial thing for a wall in a big room. And so there's a knob where you slide for the heat and you slide for the cool. I think people just were like bumping the heat. Like, no, you have to go flip it to heat.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, it was freezing in there today. Space heater would have served quite a good purpose. You can get it at Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Okay, Muse, Tigers in the Pros, hit it.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
All right, we got a few NFL transactions to get to start the day here. The Indianapolis Colts signed linebacker Jacob Phillips to a reserve futures contract. How about that? Phillips, 6'3", 228, 20 career games, 8 starts in his time with the Houston Texans and the Cleveland Browns. That's over the course of 4 seasons. 87 career tackles, 5 TFLs, and 3 sacks. He has also played in 2 postseason contests throughout. Was a third-round pick from LSU in the 2020 draft. Now a member of the Indianapolis Colts on the reserve futures. It did not stop there. The San Francisco 49ers signed Russell Gage to a reserve futures contract. Russell Gage, really nice career so far in the NFL. What?
Is he healthy? I mean, that was the problem. Remember, he had that awful injury. I think he missed this whole year.
He did miss the whole year. But his overall played in 74 games in his career, just shy of 250 receptions, just shy of 2,500 yards, and he's got 14 touchdowns. Wish him the best, and yes, that hopefully he can stay healthy. Of course, he spent time with the Falcons and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Good to finally get him out of the NFC South.
Yes.
Another transaction. This is not football, but it is basketball. The Motor City Cruise.
Let's go.
Of the NBA G League.
Buy the T-shirt.
Acquired Trey Hannibal off the available player pool. So,
are we claiming him?
Why not? He transferred in and finished his career at LSU.
Yeah, kind of like a South Carolina guy.
But he finished his career at LSU.
Yeah, I guess.
So, yeah, we're claiming him.
Sure.
The Motor City Cruise will be in action tonight.
Terrio loved him. That was the guy Terrio.
He did. So he always said he was a linebacker.
Built like a linebacker.
Built like a linebacker, yeah. Speaking of the G League, Javonte Smart in action last night for the Osceola Magic. 24 minutes off the bench, 9 points, 6 assists for Javonte. Shot 4 of 9 from the floor. Really, really solid outing there. And last, but certainly not least, Naz Reid, the Minnesota Timberwolves. 18 points, 7 boards in 31 minutes off the bench. Shot over 50% from the floor. Also blocked 2 shots. Really solid night for Naz. Timberwolves got the win. They'll be back on the floor tonight against your New Orleans Pelicans. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, LMFJ.com, LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. One of the things that I would encourage you to do, of course, you can always just walk into a Lee Michaels, but let's say you're thinking of buying that beautiful diamond ring, that engagement ring. You can always go schedule your appointment. So go to LMFJ.com, LMFJ.com, and you can scroll down and you can see when you scroll down on the home page where you can go make your appointment. If you want to book an appointment with one of their professionals at the Lee Michaels nearest you. There's 9 locations, 2 in Baton Rouge. There's New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport. Oh, it's amazing. We were talking about the Lee Michaels experience. I mean, how many times you walk into a jeweler and there's a disheveled guy pulling out a calculator trying to show you how much money you're going to save? I mean, that's not the experience you want when you're buying a beautiful piece of jewelry that's going to last forever. You walk into Lee Michaels and they'll offer you a beverage and chocolates on a tray, and they're going to make you comfortable and very, not only comfortable physically, but just comfortable with the experience of buying a beautiful piece of jewelry. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Thrill her with a gift in the red box. LMFJ.com, LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. All right, it's after further review. Muse there just mentioned that the T-Wolves will be taking on your New Orleans Pelicans. And I tell you, Muse, I am fired up about the Pels.
Really?
Fired up. Look, we started tough. The season started off rough on a 4-game losing streak, but we've won our last 2. And I don't know if you heard, but Zion is back today. Zion is back today. He was practicing last week. The Pellies announced it on social today. Big Z back today. So look, you're 2-4. You got Z coming back. You've won 2 in a row. You're feeling good. We're on the up and up.
No. See, they actually started the season on a 2-game winning streak. They're 7-29.
That's not possible, Muse. I mean, Christmas was 2 weeks ago. The NBA season starts on Christmas.
No.
The NBA season starts on Christmas. The Pels are 2-4.
No.
Big Z's coming back. Had a little hamstring injury in preseason camp. Missed 6 games, but you're 2-4. You've won 2 in a row. Look, you lost the first 4 rough. You've won 2 in a row. You're 2-4. Z's coming back. Flock up. Flock up, Muse.
Yeah. He's actually missed 36 games.
No, he missed 27.
27. Okay.
I mean, if you're going to play that role, at least get your info right.
Wow.
Muse.
I didn't know we were playing that role right now.
Well, you should at least know the answer.
AFR.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Got chores that need some extra muscle, but a large piece of equipment is overkill? That's what John Deere compact utility tractors were made for. Powerful enough for the work you need to do. Compact enough for how you need to do it. Find the equipment that's right for you at Sunshine Quality Solutions. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. The Raiders making a coaching change, fired Antonio Pierce today. In his only season as full-time coach, Vegas had a 10-game losing streak and went winless against the AFC West. The Raiders will be on their fourth coach in less than 4 years. GM Tom Telesco will return. The Titans fired GM Rand Carthon. His 2-year tenure included a 9-25 record overall, drafting quarterback Will Levis in the second round. Coach Brian Callahan will be back, and there's a big decision for Tennessee to make with the top overall pick in the NFL draft, notes ESPN's Jeff Saturday.
Which way are we going? Are we going to try to build this thing internally? Or are we going to build it? Or are we going to go get another quarterback and chase that right now? Is Sanders or Cam Ward that type or that quality of player that we can build our team around them? Or do we need to go get some more pieces and parts, trade down, figure this thing out, and then go get the quarterback in a couple of years?
Lions expect running back David Montgomery to return from an MCL injury for the NFC divisional round. After a historic season, Boise State running back Heisman runner-up Ashton Genty declared for the NFL draft.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. At Progressive, they're making things even easier. They'll help you bundle your home and car insurance together so you can save on both. Learn more at progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
So. And Mr. Toby Tompley. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. First full week here of 2025. Glad you're with us, and very glad to have Sean Salisbury back for the first time here in 2025. College football playoffs, semis, the NFL playoffs getting underway. Saints looking for a coach, and we're thrilled to have our guy with us here. Sean, Happy New Year, man. Thanks for the time as always. How are you?
No problem. Happy New Year. I'm doing well, and it's good to be with you.
Thanks, man. We appreciate it. Saints are one of 6 now head coaching jobs open after Antonio Pierce got fired. Thoughts on which is the worst job? Is it Saints or Raiders?
I don't know, man. The dysfunction in with the Jets is not exactly a great job. I know it's a big market, but hell, how do they get that right? I mean, that's not exactly your fair. And the front office in Chicago makes that a little bit difficult, meaning ownership. So if you take into looking from top to bottom, I think there's a lot of, but you're going to jump on them because everybody's ego as a coach thinks they can fix it. And I understand that, especially if you're a first-time head coach, Matt. But of those two, and I've known Mickey a long time. When I was a Seattle Seahawks rookie, Mickey was in our finance department there, and has obviously I've known Mickey for a lot of years, and I have a lot of respect for him. What I don't like in this search is the talk of the head coach. I think it was, Aaron Glenn obviously is going to get a lot of looks, as is the Ben Johnsons all over, Mike Vrabels. I don't like a general manager deciding who my coaches are. I wouldn't take the job if I had more than one offer. I wouldn't do it. Not because even if it was I do not listen, because that automatically going in tells you that you got handcuffs on you, that your hands are tied. You're not getting, and so I would ask you, so then if it fails, do you fire, if you take the gig and they keep 7 coaches from the staff, does Mickey get fired with the assistant coaches and the head coach keep the job since it was his hire? Or does the head coach, I love Mickey but I don't agree when Jerry does that, when Jason Garrett was there. I absolutely 100% unequivocally disagree with you telling a coach that he has to hire the people that, if you want this job, that here's the conditions. You got to take 5 or 6 guys on this staff. Well, why would I want to take 5 or 6 guys on a staff that hadn't made the playoffs? I mean, why do I want that? And not saying they can't coach, but I need new. And if I'm turning it over to you and empowering you like we do players these days, then I should have the right to hire them, because then I'm tied to them. Just like a general manager should be tied to the person they draft and the head coach they hire. The coach needs to be tied to the assistant coaches he hires, and obviously wins and losses and production, and do you get better. So as much as I like me, I'd say this if it was any city. I don't care if it's my favorite team. I grew up a lifelong Raider fan. You know, they're dysfunctional because, you know, they don't seem to understand player personnel and how to get that draft right, because they seem to always be the team that reaches on 2 or 3 guys in a situation they shouldn't be reaching on. So if they can get that fixed, maybe with Brady in tow, they will, and taking care of the front office. So I don't know which one's worse. I know listen, to be a head coach in the NFL is a great gig. It's a great career and a tough job. And at times can be a brutal job because of the expectation. So to me, if you said, okay, Sean, you got the Raiders or the Saints, and you love them both, one's allowing you to hire your staff, the other, and a little less money, the other one's telling you who you have to hire with more money and the same amount of years, everything else being equal, I'm going to the job that lets me hire my people. Because if I'm going to be tied to my success, then I damn well better know it's guys that I'm bringing with me. And then if we go down, we grabbed an oar, it didn't work, move on. But how in the world can you evaluate me if 7 or 6 or 5 or 4, you're telling me who's calling my plays and who you want to hire? Now, the strength and conditioning coach, I get it if you want to keep a guy who's had success in-house, but you know what? If they were 2-time Super Bowl champions in the last 3 years, I understand. They need to change. Even though you have respect for them, those guys will go on and do their thing. You should have 100% ability to hire your own coach. So which one's worse? I'll tell you which one's worse. The one that makes you hire who you want as opposed to who the head coach hires.
You know, it's interesting. We've talked about this because, like, the Saints have no franchise quarterback. They've got the worst cap situation in the NFL.
Yep.
They've got an aging, expensive roster. Like, there's no clear path to winning soon. But we haven't talked at all about the angle you just brought up, which is a great point. So let me ask you, if realistically, if you could make the hire for New Orleans, and there's some sentiment for Aaron Glenn, Joe Brady, do you go the retread hire? Do you go the young offensive mind, the first-time coach? What would you do?
You know, and the term, and Maddie, we all use it. I use it on my show. We use it all the time. We call guys retreads, and
you understand.
I know what you're saying. Guys who've been, we do. Yeah, we're saying, well, hell, Bill Belichick's a retread,
right?
And he's got 6 Super Bowl rings as a head coach, and 2 more or so as a coordinator, a coach, so assistant coach. So I get what you're saying. I in certain situations, here's age has zero to do with this for me. And like when we were doing Zoom interviews back in the COVID days and stuff, I need to sit face to face and have a guy walk me through, if he's running the entire organization, what are you going to do? I'm the owner and the general manager. I'm saying, you stand up and tell me why we're going to win and how we're going to do it. And I want to hear that, because not only every guy that stands up on the board can give me X's and O's. Every single guy that's going to be interviewed can walk me through the X's and O's of football. If they can't, then they should take 2 weeks off and quit and find a new profession. It's the other stuff. How are you going to get buy-in? How are you going to change the narrative? How are we going to take a 6 at right guard or a 7 at defensive end and turn him into an 8, or keep him there and improve him, develop them? How are we going to – what are we doing? Who are the people you're bringing along with you to execute this? So, Maddie, there's the layers of it are deep, and there's a lot that goes into it. For me, the hire, and I on the surface, I look at it and say, I want Mike Vrabel's leadership and his ability to, even though he played, there's some respect about him that players that he's revered, and he's hard nosed, which I think there's part of that. But you also got to be able to have a little latitude with your players, and I don't mean empower them all to do everything they want, but there's got to be rules that sometimes are broken, but there's got to be steadfast rules that can't be. And then as far as the guy that I'd love to hire, I know there's defense and retreads and new hires. I'm not into just because it's a 32-year-old wonderkind, the wonderkind that's been a guy who's been taught well and been in the Sean McVay philosophy and all those guys that go off, or an Andy Reid tree, that I have to hire them because they're young and energetic. There's plenty of 60-year-olds that are energetic too, but I need a mix of both. I need guys that can relate. I need guys that know how to teach. I need guys that know how to coach. I need guys that know how to lead. I need guys that get buy-in. I need to know, first and foremost, define the roles and then make sure they know their work and then work their plan. You have to plan it and then work it. So I'm a big guy on defining who you are and what we're going to do when you walk in the building. So for my hire, listen, I love Ben Johnson's approach to offensive football. He's aggressive. He's smart. He's up. He wants to score more. He's down. He's not afraid, backed up, to throw it out of his own end zone. Now, personnel matters. We know this, Matty. We can talk all we want about X's and O's. I got news for you. The best X's and O's coaches in the world without Jimmys and Joes and buy-in will be fired in 3 years. Doug Peterson. The buy-in somehow went awry. Guys got hurt, didn't work. And Doug Peterson's a hell of a football coach.
Yeah.
He's got winning experience. The other side of it is, for me, is the buy-in and the leadership and how are we going to attack it, and then to hire the coordinators. See, one thing that's underlooked, Matty, and I know we got to get to a break before we come back, but is it's not just the head coach. I want fans to understand, and having seen and listened to people do it and be in the buildings, the guys who really do most of the work the head coach can go right now. If you're Sean Payton, you're calling plays, you're doing it, and they get the buy-in and lead and say, they set the culture. But you can set any culture you want. If the offensive line coach isn't teaching the same culture and has expectations or accountability, and that's another word that you have to have on winning organizations. I don't care how smart you are. If there's no accountability and you let the guys show up 5 minutes late for stretching lines. I've been on a team that did that, and we got our ass kicked too often, and we were way too talented. And then I've been on a team where if you were 2 minutes late to stretching lines on an afternoon Wednesday practice, you got fined, period. They didn't fine you. You fined yourself because you knew going in what the expectations were. So I love Ben Johnson. I love Mike Vrabel. I think Aaron Glenn, obviously New Orleans knows him. I think he's fantastic. I mean, there's some good coaches in the cycle. Age and track record in the past, wins and losses. There's a reason I'm interviewing him. I could care less. I care about what you're doing now, what kind of buy-in you can get. Convince me why we're going to the playoffs and how you're going to build it. Only if I allow you to hire. If you're making me hire my head coaches, my assistant coaches, if you're hiring them and I don't get to, then I've got to move on. But if it's your only offer, they're going to take it. That's the way it is. But my wish list would be Ben Johnson because I love offensive football.
Sure.
Yet I know defenses win championships as well. But Johnson and Vrabel would be my first two. But I love what Aaron Glenn's done, and I love Joe Brady. As you know, we've talked about what he's done. And the familiarity with him and his comfort zone and having been there in LSU makes it tempting. And what he's done with Buffalo is nothing short of fantastic. Don't judge him by Carolina. Carolina sucked. He had no shot to be successful there. So he shows you. But I got news for you. You better get the guy under center, and you better get the guys up front that can block for him. If you get those two to start, the rest will take care of itself. But give me Ben Johnson. But that's a long line to stand in. And I would think that with Ben Johnson's attitude and confidence, telling him that he has to hire a certain amount of coaches, if they were interviewing him, I wouldn't think that Ben Johnson would be interested in that. Most are going to be interested in somebody who's got a high draft pick for a quarterback or has a quarterback in-house.
Well, when we come back, I do want to talk about the quarterback in-house for the Saints because that's a big talking point. Do they bring back Derek Carr? Do they eat a giant cap number? How do they start to move forward? We'll get to that with Sean as we continue. It's AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Glow Resources. Check them out at GLO. GlowResources.com, GlowResources.com. They are complete employer solutions. Business owners are going to be hiring here in 2025. Or maybe your business is struggling to find max efficiency. Let Glow Resources help. Start there, GLO, GlowResources.com. They obviously do specialize in skilled blue-collar labor. Welders, pipe fitters, machinists, they can help there. But they also have their professional placement division. Call Glow Resources, ask for Casey. If it's office admin, executive level assistants, assistant controllers, plant managers, scheduling assistants, any type of office job, accounting, HR, marketing, managerial and supervisor roles, they do it all. They'll find the right people to make your business more efficient. GLO, GlowResources.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Got chores that need some extra muscle, but a large piece of equipment is overkill? That's what John Deere compact utility tractors were made for. Powerful enough for the work you need to do. Compact enough for how you need to do it. Find the equipment that's right for you at Sunshine Quality Solutions. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Big shout out to Sunshine. We always appreciate our friends over at Sunshine. Sunequip.com, sunequip.com. Of course, the weather is cold. We're outside of harvesting season right now, but pushing people, get on by, bring your John Deere equipment to get it serviced before that grass is green again. You can do it over at Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Sean Salisbury is our guest with us here on Tuesdays during football season. We're thrilled to have him. Sean, I want to ask you about Derek Carr, but first things first. I know you're there in Houston and the Texans are in the playoffs. AFC, NFC, is there one game on each side of the bracket that jumps off the page here in the wild card round that you're just aching to see for one reason or another?
I'm intrigued with, well, first off, let me get out in front of this. If everybody played their best of the 14 teams, and you know how I feel about, I picked Detroit to go to the Super Bowl when it started.
Mm-hmm.
But if every team, 14 teams, played their best in like a round robin tournament and they were the pinnacle or peak of their season, give me the Ravens.
Okay.
I think defensively, the quarterback, the way they're distributing the football, Derrick Henry's threat, the way you have to – there's nobody more difficult to prepare for in game planning for a defensive coordinator in the league because of their bandwidth all the way around. So I think that right now they're playing at such a high level, although the January Kansas City Chiefs are in February, they get it. And then the question is, can the Allens and Lamar Jacksons elevate in January? I get it. I think in the AFC, Denver going to Buffalo, Allen played a little bit. Will the time off? I'm always concerned, even though it was a week, getting rest is great. I like competitive momentum where you got to keep playing. I always have, especially if you're healthy. And I never have subscribed to rest players and they don't play the last game of the season. Then you take a bye week, and then the third game is a week later and you're playing. it's training camp before you're competitive again. I've never liked that, even though you want to get home field advantage. I get it. So that to me, you got to stay on edge. So I think for me, the Denver-Baltimore game and the physicality of Pittsburgh and Baltimore, the Denver-Buffalo game, should I say, the physicality in the Pittsburgh-Baltimore game and the way Pittsburgh has handled Baltimore over the last, 10 games. I think they're 2-8 against Pittsburgh is Baltimore. So there's somehow they know how to stop them. I think it stops this time around because the offense of Pittsburgh right now is the worst of the 14 teams in the playoffs. But the Denver-Buffalo game intrigues me. Denver's playing well. They've got an active quarterback, and their defense can maybe get some stops and turn it over. I think that's one. In the NFC, who's playing? Who's playing Philly? Washington?
So Philly is playing Green Bay.
Green Bay, that's right.
Washington's at Tampa. And then you got the Rams-Vikings game as well.
You know what? I guess for me, I wouldn't say I'm overly intrigued. Obviously, the playoff games, there'll be some good ones with, the Green Bay, Philly, and also we know about. I love what Jaden Daniels has done, so I'm kind of anxious to see how he deals with a Tampa team that squeezed their way in. But the Minnesota Rams game in the NFC, after Minnesota's last loss, can they get over it quick? They don't have a lot of this long experience in January. Darnold hasn't been in this position. He had a great year. And O'Connell and Sean McVay, you could take the Vikings and put them in Rams uniforms and the Rams and put them in Vikings uniforms, and they could both execute the game this week because the verbiage is going to be the same. Kevin O'Connell, McVay. So both teams know it. Both teams know audible checks and what they use. I mean, the whole thing. The question is, are the Vikings, can they handle the movement of those slot receivers in Kupp and Puka to stop them and get to Stafford? And on the other side of it, can Sam recover and play like he has all year long where people don't start to creep into, what happened, and gather their senses after Detroit manhandled them. So the key here for me is Vikings defense dealing with the passing game and the possession offense that the Rams run. That would probably be the one because of what happened with Detroit last week. And the Rams, the grind through the season after those two guys were hurt, Nakua and Kupp at the beginning of the season. It's a tribute to them. Sean McVay did a great job with them.
14 wins and you're the 5 seed.
Listen, I actually on social media, Maddie, think about it. I'm big on, I know divisions, and I know this is probably not popular. I would like the 4 best records. I don't, to me,
Sure.
The Texans don't deserve a home game. They just don't. I know they're in the division. I would rather have, like in the Texans or Minnesota should be at home playing this game.
Yeah.
That they should. So I would like how you get to it. I don't know. In NFL, they'll change rules that we like. Why'd you change that? And then they'll leave a rule. You say we need to change that. So, but yeah, 14 wins, and you're going on you're going to have to deal with you're a wild card because Detroit's so good. So that would be the intriguing one in the NFC. But the playoffs, there'll be an upset this weekend. We know that.
What do you think about I'll get to Carr in a second, but in the college games, you got Notre Dame, Penn State, and then Texas against Ohio State. It looks awesome. How do you think the semis go?
Well, if all 4 of those teams play their best, the most talented team out there is Ohio State.
Yeah, they've shown that.
They're really good. The way Ewers played late in the game, if that Quinn Ewers shows up, they're going to have one hell of an opportunity in this. They are. They got to. You got to withstand early punches to the face. I actually am intrigued with the way Notre Dame plays. I am. I'll be honest with you, man. And I follow that team a lot and the SC Notre Dame rivalry. You watch them. I think we all underrate their team speed. I do. It will not shock me. And when's the last time we said this? If Notre Dame's the national champion, shock, surprise, yes. Shock, no. I think they're playing damn good football. So that one, to me, if they all play their best, Ohio State's going to win the whole thing, and Ryan Day is going to be able to sit back and middle finger whoever he wants. But Texas is physical. We know that quarterback plays obviously paramount. But the one team that we're not going to talk about, Notre Dame always gets talked about, but I don't think we talked about their speed, is the Penn State situation. They are great on defense, a veteran quarterback.
Yeah.
They're kind of the one like, oh, yeah, that's right. They're the by the way in this. But I'd be careful. To me, the 2 most talented teams are Texas and Ohio State. the sneaky ones. And if Notre Dame wins the whole thing, I won't be shocked. If Penn State runs through it, I won't be. But I think we all like the prettiness and the skill set of both Ohio State and Texas. But Texas can knock you in the mouth at the line of scrimmage. They're pretty physical on both sides of the ball.
4 giant brands. I mean, college football,
Huge.
the playoff wins, massive with these 4 teams.
Blue blood
remaining.
programs through and through with this, no question.
Sean Salisbury is our guest. Let me get a thought, Sean, as we wrap on the Derek Carr situation. Cat Terrell over at ESPN had a one-on-one with Derek. He said he will not take a pay cut. He'd do a restructure. His cap number next year is $50 million. I mean, look, you either have him on the roster for $50 million. His dead number is $51 million. Or, you restructure, you kick the can down the road. I mean, they're between a rock and a hard place, man. But with a guy that they know isn't going to take him to any great heights. So what do you do?
I think there's only now if you're going to tell the new head coach coming in, we're going to handcuff you for a couple of years, but we're going to be patient with you, because I'm not sure they're starting quarterbacks in the building right now, honestly. Now Carr would go in, he'll put up some numbers, and maybe you because of the salary you're forced to start him. But I think there's only one huge job. That cap, it's just too, that will cripple a franchise. And they put themselves in this position. It's self-inflicted. But you're not winning a Super Bowl. I do. I love the guy. I've told you this, Matt, but I also told you since he's been there, you're not playing in February if he's your quarterback under the current circumstances. You're just not.
Yep.
And so if he is the starter, you have to restructure the contract. He said he's not taking a pay cut, fine. But I got to move it around to make it more feasible, and make it more feasible that if I do go get somebody else, they get a chance to compete for this. Because here's my thing. If it's just getting to the playoffs or just winning a division that makes you happy, then play him, because you're that South. Tampa could go away. You never know. Hell, Penix will be the star. Who the hell knows? But if you're thinking Super Bowl, you have to leave it competitive and do something different, meaning restructure. You cannot go into the season without restructuring or even considering taking the cap hit. If Super Bowl is on your mind, and I'd like to hope that it is in New Orleans, they've tasted it and get it. But I can just tell you this, we'll be sitting here having this conversation next year, and if they're playing in January, they won't be playing in February under the current circumstances. That's no disrespect to them. That's just there's a certain group of guys that are always going to be in chance to go to the Super Bowl, and there's the next level that are always going to put up numbers, but it's just not going to happen. And right now, they're so hamstrung by the salary cap, self-inflicted. They've put their next coach in a major bind.
Yeah.
And if you're going to have the coach make a decision on who the starter is, let him make a true decision based on performance, not on money. But Carr will obviously go in. I don't think you can cut him, and nobody's going to trade for that money. So restructure really, to me, is the only one, and then allow somebody to come in and compete with him and see if you can force your hand. And when people say, what if the other guy beats him out?
Great.
Well, then you get the most expensive salary cap backup quarterback on the planet. That's the way it works.
I mean, it's
not
just
Kirk Cousins. Yeah.
Deshaun Watson maybe now as well. I mean, it's
there's one. Yeah. And there's another guy whose best of his career is behind him.
Yeah. Man,
think about that. $230 million of it, brother.
Oh,
think about that. And Andrew Berry still has a gig.
Yeah, guaranteed.
Yeah. Andrew Berry still has a gig, and that $230 million says. But you'll get a lot at this time of year. I confess he did it.
Yeah,
I confess it's that guy's fault. And God bless him if you got the owner's ear and you could pull that off in some of these cities where the GM keeps it and everybody else has to go. It's like, damn. But yeah, man, $230 guaranteed $1 million, and I'm not sure he was the best quarterback on the roster this year.
Oh, God.
Think about that.
Worst contract in the history of the NFL.
There is no question. And he's going to be the reason why people don't do that down the road. He just is.
Sean, sorry, go ahead.
You want good ones, you're going to have to pay, man. This is players. We're going to be talking in 2 years, and somebody's going to be making $70 million a year.
Sean Salisbury, great stuff as always, man. Happy New Year again. We appreciate you.
Appreciate you as always, Matty. Thank you.
Be well. He's the best. He's on Twitter at Sean Unfiltered. Y'all get him weekday mornings here on Sports Talk 790 in Houston. Involved in so many different things. Quarterback tutor, coaches, prospects, and just awesome. Such great insight. We always appreciate Sean's time. It's after further review. We are brought to you by Parish Restoration. Do business with someone you know. ParishBuilt.com. It's a patented non-toxic dry fog. Have mold or think you might? Parish Restoration. If you need to sanitize your workspace, a medical facility, a school, a church, an office building, Parish Restoration. It's easy. They'll come in, for your home, less than half a day. They'll come in, they'll fog it. As soon as the fog, it's non-toxic, by the way, safe for plants, pets, your family, everybody. So you're not ripping up carpet, cutting sheetrock, taking things out of the home. They come in, leave it as is. They come in, they'll fog, get in every nook and cranny. It'll kill the mold, odor, dozens of harmful pathogens. As soon as that fog dissipates, boom, you're back in free and clear. Parish Restoration. Parishbuilt.com. Hit the restoration tab. Parishbuilt.com. All right, it's after further review. Thanks to Sean for being here with us. Jimmy won't be with us, but we do have a couple of picks for Otterlocks. They're posted right now at louisianasports.net. Always free if you want to get them there. A couple of basketball plays. You can get them at louisianasports.net. We'll give you those picks here in about 15 minutes from right now. There is an updated mock draft from Jordan Reed over at ESPN. Interesting with who he had the Saints taking and where he had Will Campbell going in round one. We'll tell you that next on AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for 3 decades. Get Gordon and get it done. Of course, we've told you for a couple of years now how generous Gordon has been building up the G team through all the different NIL initiatives Gordon has done, but not just with the Tigers football team, but not just with the Tigers. State schools all over Louisiana, men's sports, women's sports, giving NIL opportunities to these great young people who have an opportunity to be put on that stage and earn a little money. Just another way that Gordon gives back. So we tell you all the time, you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for more than 30 years. Get Gordon and get it done. You can start at the website at getgordon.com. When you go to the main page, you'll see cases we handle there at the top. You can hit that tab, and it'll show you all the different types of cases they handle at Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys all over the state of Louisiana. So you know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Out the gate, Lordy, here she comes with a basket full of chicken and a big cold jug of sweet tea. I make a little room.
That's a lively tune, Muse. What's it called?
She Thinks My Tractor's Sexy.
Oh, that's great.
That's
I've never heard it.
I'm glad you can hear it now. Here's the hook.
She thinks my tractor's sexy.
Are there those of the female persuasion who find tractors, as he says,
Yeah, I'm sure there are. Yeah, man.
Sexy?
Yeah, a farmer, rugged, out
Yes.
there working his hands.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tell you what, Muse. When I went out to Sunshine, and they put me in one of those big combines. Wasn't exactly roughing it.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're in the... Listen, shout out to all the farmers. For real. They make America go. But those things are awesome. I mean, you're up in this big, comfy chair that's the size of a recliner. The cab is air conditioned. You got all the Bluetooth technology, speakers in there, and all the stuff. I mean, they got this one part where, you could basically put that thing on cruise control. You could, we spelled AFR in some grass, and they just put the design in the little touchscreen and then hit go, and the thing just drove itself and carved AFR into the grass.
It's pretty cool.
It was awesome. It's got a little cooler right there as well. You want not that I would endorse putting a little coal pop in there, but I might endorse putting a little coal pop in there. I don't know if that's legal, Muse.
They're their own boss.
Huh?
Farmers are their own boss, right? I mean,
you said oh, but no, I mean legal, Muse. Is it against the law?
Well, I don't think they're going to come pull you over on your farm in the middle of the field.
Probably not. Probably not.
Just don't take that on the road.
Probably not. Just saying. Shout out Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. That's what we're going to do here. So, Jordan Reed over at ESPN.com has his latest mock draft up. So, the NFL draft order has been set. Well, I guess sans the playoff teams, right? We'll see how that all goes. But for the non-playoff teams, the draft order has been set. And we always talk about mock drafts. I guess we're into that part of the year where we're going to talk more and more about mock drafts because we're going to see more and more of them as you go through all the draft declarations and that the deadline for players to declare for the draft later this month. And then there will be the Senior Bowl and there will be the Combine and there will be pro days and all the stuff as we get closer to it. So a lot will unfold as we get there, and we'll see what happens. But I'm primarily going to be looking at what the Saints are projected to do at 9 and where Will Campbell goes, because we're all assuming that he will be a first-round pick because he's in everybody's mock draft as a first-rounder. So Jordan Reed has the Saints drafting 9 and has the Saints taking McMillan, the receiver, out of Arizona, which would be an awesome pick if that happens. And by the way, one pick later, he's got Will Campbell going 10 to the Chicago Bears, which, boy, that would be awesome for Will. Top 10 pick. You're going to go up to Chicago, potentially be the blindside protector if he stays on the left side. For Caleb Williams there, you'll have a new coach in Chicago, but the franchise quarterback, tons of receivers, lots of talent on that offense. That could be a great spot for Will Campbell if it pans out that way. But McMillan is a guy at 6'5", 212. He looks like a number one receiver. And I don't mean, listen, Jamar Chase is 6 foot tall, and he's every bit a number one receiver. Obviously, he's just won the Triple Crown. But when I look at the Saints, very clearly they need help at the skill positions. But they got to get younger. When I look at the Saints, and if you missed the open of the show today, we talked about the Derek Carr situation, and I'm trying not to overreact or be too emotional because it's January and we're talking about 2025. I mean, we've got 9 months to prepare for what's coming in 2025. And what's coming in 2025 is misery for the New Orleans Saints. I am not going to sugarcoat anything this offseason. You have an awful cap situation. You have your most expensive players are aging veterans that are not anywhere near the peak of their careers anymore. You can't spend on free agents. You don't have a franchise quarterback. You're hiring a new coach. There is nothing for which to be optimistic. But for me, what I keep hoping for organizationally is an acknowledgement from the New Orleans Saints that they have bottomed out. And the understanding that there is no shortcut. There is no elevator to the top in this situation. There is no quick fix. The situation the Saints are in, they are in because of a decade of decisions made to try to win a championship with Drew Brees. And it didn't work. And I'm not going to be hypocritical because I was okay with them doing that. Because especially in 2017, 18, 19, 20, you were trying to get one more with Drew. And so you mortgaged the future to win now. And I was okay with doing it. But it didn't work. You got close, but it didn't work. But the more you keep perpetuating this, the more you keep doubling down on this strategy, the deeper you keep digging the hole. And my thought was when they fired Dennis Allen midseason and when they traded Marshawn Lattimore, my hope was that was an acknowledgement at the time that they're hitting the reset button, that it's going to go to the bottom. And 2025, I want to see the Saints completely bottom out. I don't want that for my team. Don't misunderstand me, but I also understand that's necessary. You have to go to the bottom before you can springboard back up. And what they keep doing is delaying the path to the bottom. The whole thing about cows running through the rain. Y'all know this story? So when cows see a storm come, they run away from the storm. And in so doing, they end up being in the rain longer because they're running with the storm, as opposed to just running at it. Then you're through it quickly, more quickly. You're still going to get wet. You're still going to be in the middle of a storm, but you're going to be it more quickly. That's what I want to see the Saints do. Acknowledge what's happening. The storm is coming. You're going to get wet. But instead of running away from it and prolonging and being in that weather longer, just run head on into it, man. Rip the Band-Aid off. Use whatever analogy you want. Cut Derek Carr. Eat the $50 million. Hey, by the way, the Eagles did this with Carson Wentz. They had a $40 million dead cap number. The Broncos did it with Russell Wilson. And guess what? They're in the playoffs with a rookie quarterback because they have a good head coach. We don't need to talk about him, though. But you all know the truth. But, man, if you just keep trying to double down and make it work and build around Derek Carr and restructure contracts, all you're doing is delaying the inevitable, and you're making this perpetual state of mediocrity prolonged. And now you're not even mediocre, you're bad. I know I started this segment talking about the draft because Jordan Reed has the Saints taking McMillan, the receiver from Arizona, and I'd be great with that. I think he'd be an awesome player to add to the offense. But I also look, and you were 31st in the NFL in defense, and you need help at every level of your defense. I mean, you are awful everywhere. There is nowhere on the Saints roster. Nowhere. There's not one position group where I look and I go, they're good there. Am I wrong? And can anybody put up a salient argument to the contrary, to say the Saints are good at a certain position? I mean, you can't make that argument for any, you're one of the worst in the NFL against the run. You're one of the worst at pressuring the quarterback. I think DeMario Davis is still fantastic, and he's one of my favorite New Orleans Saints ever. But he's 35 years old, going on 36. I think Pete Werner's a good linebacker, but you don't have any depth there at linebacker after those two guys. You're not good at cornerback. You're young, and I don't think you're certainly not elite. And at safety, Tyron's old, and you don't have a safety now. I mean, Will Harris is a backup player. You are not good anywhere on defense. Your offensive line is atrocious. Your running back is old. Your quarterback is average at best. And your receivers, when healthy, are good starting receivers, but you're certainly not elite anywhere. Anywhere. I don't care who they pick at 9. Like, just look at your board and whoever is the best, take that person because you have to, because whatever position they play, you need an upgrade there. And that's true throughout this draft. All right, so after further review, we are brought to you by First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com, FirstSouthLand.com. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. They're the best at First South Farm Credit. They really are. For more than 100 years, man. For more than 100 years, First South Farm Credit has done one thing. They help Louisianians buy land. And by the way, not just in Louisiana. You want to buy hunting property in Mississippi? First South Farm Credit can help. You want to buy that property in Texas? First South Farm Credit can help. You want to buy a dude ranch in Montana? First South Farm Credit can help. You want to do business with someone who lives where you live, works where you work, talks how you talk? You can do it with a lender from First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com, FirstSouthLand.com. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. Go to FirstSouthLand.com. That's FirstSouthLand.com. All right, y'all. It is after further review. Jimmy gave us a couple of picks, so we'll get to Otterlocks to wrap up next. I'll give you Jimmy's picks, but they are up at LouisianaSports.net if you want to go make those plays right now. A couple of college basketball picks that we'll get to. And if you want to wrap as well, we'll do what we learned, ask us as well. Jimmy, I hope, will be back with us soon. But as we mentioned, if you weren't here yesterday, Jimmy's family was close to one of the victims of the awful New Year's Day tragedy on Bourbon Street. And so he's taking some time away, and he'll be back when he is, and we'll welcome him back and love to have him back when we do. But in the meantime, if he sends us picks, we'll pass them along, but that's certainly not anybody's priority right now. But we'll give you the couple of plays coming up here as we wrap up next. It's AFR.
After further review.
We're brought to you by the Watermark Hotel and the Renaissance Hotel, two amazing hotel properties. Watermark downtown, the Renaissance Southtown. Of course, the Renaissance is right there on Bluebonnet. Love telling you about the Renaissance Hotel. Gorgeous, sprawling property on Bluebonnet, right in the heart of Baton Rouge, across from the mall and Perkins Row, close proximity to I-10, so you have easy access. If you have family coming in town, you stay at the Renaissance Hotel. You want a night out? Easy. Knocking off work, pop on in to the Renaissance because, my goodness, Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel is an amazing place. It's a casual, upscale dining experience. My guy Nathaniel over there has actually done an awesome job curating their whiskey and spirits list as well. They got a great whiskey list at Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel. Chef Jason Hebert, a chef-curated menu. I mean, he's worked from New York to San Francisco and points in between, and it's all right there. It's Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel. And of course, if you're having an event coming up, where else would you look? The Renaissance Hotel.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Got chores that need some extra muscle, but a large piece of equipment is overkill? That's what John Deere compact utility tractors were made for. Powerful enough for the work you need to do. Compact enough for how you need to do it. Find the equipment that's right for you at Sunshine Quality Solutions. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Down the stretch, we come final segment here on a Tuesday edition of AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. All right, Muse, hit the auto locks open.
Auto locks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
All right, Otter is out, but we do have his plays. 2 college basketball plays. Otter gave Michigan plus 2.5, which is actually now up to 3. So the old adage, chalk early, dogs late, plays there. So you get 3 right now at DraftKings with Michigan. And then the Georgia Bulldogs plus 1.5 at home against Kentucky. So Georgia plus 1.5 and Michigan, which is now up to plus 3, are the 2 plays for Jimmy and Otterlocks, presented by Lofton and Supreme Rice. All right, it's after further review. We are brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Energy efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hard plank vinyl siding. They do it all. They do it better than anyone over at Relief Windows. Give Brandon Holly and the gang a call. I'm telling you what, man, when it's 29 degrees at night and you got that heater on, you want to make sure that that thing's working appropriately. You want to keep your home energy efficient so you don't have those costly air leaks. You ever walk by a window and go, man, that's a drafty window. You want to know why? You got air leaks. You want to prevent that? You call Relief Windows. When you get custom windows made for your home, they measure twice, install once, so that way you have custom windows specifically made for your home. And by the way, they're Geldwin wood windows, lifetime warranty on wood windows. Some people think that's a punchline. No. That's a real thing over at Relief Windows. So you live in one of those neighborhoods where the HOA requires wood windows, you want Relief Windows. Install once, you're done forever. ReliefWindows.com. ReliefWindows.com. Windows, door siding. Oh, yeah. They do shutters as well. Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Couple of games on the hardwood tonight. As we mentioned, LSU is going to take on Missouri up in Como. John Brady was here last hour. Tigers are a 7.5-point favorite. The LSU Tigers are a 7.5-point dog, I should say. So LSU a big underdog in this ball game. Missouri 6th in the country at steals. LSU one of the worst in the SEC at turning the ball over right now. There's the game within the game. Can LSU protect the basketball if they can? I think they'll have a shot to go on the road and pull this upset. I don't like LSU to win the game. It's really hard to pick them, especially after falling at home against Vanderbilt, to go on the road and get a win. But the bottom of this league is this league is tough, top to bottom. And you do have an experienced veteran backcourt, so let's see if they can go on the road and steal a win. And then the Pels, if you missed the news earlier, this New Orleans Pelican season has been absolutely atrocious. They're 7-29 right now. Zion Williamson, who's missed 27 games with that hamstring injury, is returning tonight. He is active. He is available for the game tonight at the Blender against the Minnesota Timberwolves. So in what feels like a lost season, and who knows really what Zion will be. That's a guy that still averages 26-6 for his career, 26-6-4. You're better with your best player on the floor. You're better with an all-star player on the floor. So it's been 2 months, but an opportunity to see Zion on the floor tonight for the Pels. So we'll see how it goes. Pels tonight at home against the Minnesota Timberwolves, and LSU on the road tonight against Missouri. We'll certainly be back tomorrow talking about both of those things. All right, down the stretch we come. That'll do it for us here on this this Tuesday edition of AFR. Tomorrow is Hump Day. Thanks to Ross Dellenger, who was here in hour number 1. Shea Dixon was here as well, talking some portal needs for LSU. John Brady last hour, Sean Salisbury. If you missed anything, AFR On Demand presented by Brett Golf. You can catch it there. All right, that's going to do it for us here. Muse, Paulie, thanks. Y'all have an awesome night. We'll be back tomorrow for Hump Day edition of AFR. We'll see you then.
After further review.
As we get on down the road, get to tell you about South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. Y'all, new year, new vehicle. If you have never gone and test driven a Volkswagen, why not? Get on by and put Volkswagen on your list. Listen, there's a lot of reasons to shop Volkswagen. The top safety picks, the style, the feel, the performance of luxury, and, of course, all the great deals. Right now at South Point, they've got their New Year's sales event going on. Jetta, Taos, Cross Sport, Tiguan, Atlas, all of them. Great deals, the best deals of the year. And the all-new electric, the all-electric ID4, starting at $149 a month. If you've ever wanted or wondered about the electric vehicle craze and you want to test drive one, go test drive an ID4 at South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland or southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction?
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps are held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.